Have you ever stood in a quiet room or walked through a silent forest and felt it? A sense that the world perceived by your five senses is not the entire story. A feeling, like a faint hum beneath the noise of daily life, that suggests there are other currents, other energies, other laws at play, operating just beneath the surface of what we call reality. It's a subtle yet persistent question that whispers to us in our quietest moments. What if there is more to this life than what we can see and touch and measure? For so many of us, life can feel like a series of random events, a current that pulls us along without our consent. We feel stuck, adrift in circumstances we believe are beyond our control. Tossed by the waves of an indifferent ocean, we work harder. We chase after the next goal, the next possession, the next relationship, believing that the solution to our inner emptiness lies somewhere out there, in the external world. Yet, the feeling often remains a quiet desperation, a sense that we are merely reacting to a script that has already been written for us, rather than being the author of our own story. But what if this feeling of powerlessness is based on a profound misunderstanding? What if the ancient mystics, the philosophers, and even the pioneers of modern physics were all pointing to the same revolutionary truth, that the key to mastering the world outside of us is found in the world inside of us? This is an invitation to a journey into those hidden realms, not with a map of dogma or doctrine, but with the distilled wisdom of thinkers and seers who have walked this path before. And our guide on this journey is the modern magic of the audiobook, a silent companion that allows us to transform a daily commute, a morning run, or a quiet evening at home into a classroom for the soul. It is a way to immerse ourselves in these life-altering ideas, to let them wash over us, to plant seeds of understanding that can grow in the fertile soil of our own minds. Together, we will explore the unseen architecture of reality. We will learn the language of the universe, and we will discover how to harness the most potent creative force in existence, your own consciousness, to unlock a life not of accident, but of intention, a life of profound meaning, purpose, and limitless possibility. The journey beyond the senses begins now. We begin our journey with the most fundamental, most powerful, and often most overlooked landscape in our entire existence: the human mind. For centuries, we have been conditioned to believe that our mind is a kind of mirror, a passive instrument that reflects the world around us. We see a tree, and the mind reflects the image of a tree. We experience a setback, and the mind reflects the feeling of disappointment. In this model, we are at the mercy of the world, our inner state merely a consequence of the outer reality. But I want to propose a radical shift in perspective, a truth that ancient traditions have always known and that modern science is beginning to confirm. Your mind is not a mirror. It is a projector. It is not a passive observer. It is an active participant. Your mind is the unseen architect, and your thoughts are the silent, invisible blueprints from which your entire life is constructed. Every single thing that you see in your life, your health, your relationships, your financial situation, your joys and your sorrows, first existed as a thought. It began as a fleeting idea, a persistent belief, a deep-seated assumption held within the sanctum of your consciousness. This is not a mere philosophical platitude. It is the very mechanism of creation. Think of the chair you are sitting on, or the device you are using to listen to this. Before it was a physical object, it was an idea in someone's mind. An architect first visualizes a skyscraper in the theater of their imagination before a single shovel breaks ground. A composer hears a symphony in the silent chambers of their soul before a single note is played. In the same way, you are constantly designing your life with the quality of your thinking. The connection between your inner world of thought and your outer world of circumstance is absolute and unbreakable. A mind that is perpetually dwelling on thoughts of lack, of fear, of I am not enough, will project that reality outwards. It will find evidence to support its own beliefs. It will overlook opportunities that contradict its narrative. And it will unconsciously attract circumstances that mirror its inner state. Conversely, a mind that is consciously cultivated to hold thoughts of abundance, of love, of capability, and of worthiness will begin to project that reality. It is a subtle shift, but it changes everything. Life ceases to be a series of accidents and begins to feel like a conversation, a co-creation between you and the universe. Over a century ago, the philosophical writer James Allen penned a small but profoundly powerful book, which serves as a perfect cornerstone for this understanding. In his work, As a Man Thinketh, he presents a metaphor so simple and yet so complete that it encapsulates this entire truth. He asks us to imagine that our mind is a garden. This garden can be intelligently cultivated, or it can be allowed to run wild. But whether cultivated or neglected, it will, and must, bring forth. If no useful seeds are put into it, then an abundance of useless weed seeds will fall therein, and will continue to produce their kind, just as a gardener must tend to his plot, removing the weeds, the thorns, and the pests, and planting the seeds of the flowers and fruits he desires. So too must we tend to the garden of our minds. Every thought you allow to take root is a seed. A thought of resentment is a seed of poison ivy, which will inevitably grow and choke the life out of the more delicate plants. A thought of kindness is a seed for a fragrant rose. A thought of fear is a seed for a thorny bush that will snag you and hold you back. A thought of courage is the seed of a mighty oak, providing shade and strength. This brings us to a critical distinction: the difference between active, conscious thinking, and passive, default thinking. For most of our lives, many of us operate on default. Our mental garden is left untended. The seeds that fall into it are not chosen by us, but are blown in by the winds of external influence. The news, the opinions of others, the fears of society, the unresolved pains of our own past. We then look at the chaotic, weed-choked garden of our life and wonder why we are not happy, why we are not fulfilled. We blame the soil. We blame the weather. We blame everything but our own lack of conscious gardening. Default thinking is reactive. Something happens in the world, and we react with a pre-programmed thought pattern. Our boss criticizes us, and the weed seed of I'm a failure immediately sprouts. We see someone else's success, and the weed seed of envy takes root. Active thinking, on the other hand, is the conscious act of being the gardener. It is choosing to stand at the gate of your mind and decide which seeds are allowed entry. It is the practice of deliberately planting seeds of love, forgiveness, and abundance, even when the external world seems to show you the opposite. It is the daily, hourly work of pulling up the weeds of fear and doubt the moment they appear, before they can establish deep roots and steal the nutrients from the soil. James Allen stated it with perfect clarity: circumstance does not make the man. It reveals him to himself. This is a crucial point. We often believe our thoughts are a result of our circumstances. But the deeper truth is that our circumstances are a result of our dominant thoughts. The outer world is a mirror that shows us what our inner garden looks like. If you want to change the reflection, you cannot change it by trying to alter the mirror. You must change the object being reflected. You must go back into the garden of your mind. This is where true power resides. It's not about controlling the world. It's about mastering yourself. It's about understanding that a single, pure, positive thought, consistently held and nurtured, has the power to dissolve mountains of negativity and resistance. It's a process of purification. When you begin to consciously choose your thoughts, you are no longer a creature of habit. You are a creator of circumstance. You are no longer a victim of your past programming, but the architect of your future destiny. You begin to understand that character is not a matter of chance, but the result of continued effort and right thinking. You are, quite literally, what you think. Your life, your personality, your entire reality is the complete sum of all your thoughts. Take a moment to truly absorb the weight of that. It is both a tremendous responsibility and the most liberating gift you could ever receive. It means that at any moment, right now, you can begin the process of redesigning your life from the inside out. You can start planting new seeds. So the blueprint is clear. The architect is identified. It is your mind. And the building blocks are your thoughts. But this raises a profound and practical question. How does a thought, something seemingly non-physical, ethereal, and weightless, actually influence the solid, physical world around us? How does the blueprint in the architect's mind become a tangible skyscraper? The blueprint itself doesn't magically transform into steel and glass. It acts as a guide for a process that involves energy, materials, and a force that organizes them into a specific form. In the same way, our thoughts are not just abstract ideas. They are not empty. They are bursts of energy. They are things, and as we are about to discover, every single thing in our universe, from the most solid rock to the most fleeting thought, is not a solid object at all, but a shimmering, dancing field of pure energy, vibrating at a specific frequency. If thoughts are the architect, then the material they use to build, the very substance of creation, is energy. And the language that energy speaks is vibration. We have established the mind as the architect, the silent designer of our reality. But what is the medium in which this architect works? What is the clay from which our thoughts mold the world? The answer lies in a principle so fundamental that it is woven into the very fabric of existence, the law of vibration. To begin to understand this, let's start with a common human experience. Think about the last time you walked into a room right after two people had a heated argument. Even if the room is silent when you enter, you can feel it, can't you? A tangible tension hangs in the air. It feels heavy, uncomfortable, sharp. Now, contrast that with the feeling of walking into a room filled with newborn puppies, or a place where people are celebrating a joyous occasion. The air feels light, effervescent, and warm. What are you sensing in those moments? You are not imagining it. You are perceiving, with senses far more subtle than your 5 primary ones, the residual vibration left in that space. You are sensing energy. This is the first and most important realization. Everything, from the words we speak to the emotions we harbor, has a distinct energetic signature, a vibration. Ancient cultures knew this intuitively. They spoke of vibes or auras or a person's energy. Modern science, in its own way, is simply catching up to this ancient wisdom. At its core, the law of vibration states that nothing in the universe is at rest. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. Everything oscillates. From the largest galaxy spinning in the cosmos to the smallest subatomic particle in your fingernail, everything is in a state of perpetual motion. The illusion of solidity is just that, an illusion created by our limited senses. A block of iron appears solid and inert, but it is actually a mass of atoms vibrating at an incredibly high speed, held together in a specific structure. The only difference between that block of iron, the air you breathe, and the light from the sun is its rate of vibration, its frequency. Now, let's bring this cosmic principle into your personal reality. If a rock has a vibration and light has a vibration, it must follow that your thoughts also have a vibration. And they do. Your thoughts are not passive, abstract things. They are measurable, electrochemical impulses of energy in your brain. Each thought you have causes your brain to emit a specific frequency. And because your mind and body are an interconnected system, That thought frequency instantly translates into a feeling, which is your body's physical interpretation of that vibration. This is why different thoughts feel different. A thought of dread sends a slow, heavy, chaotic frequency through your body. It triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol. Your muscles tense. Your breathing becomes shallow. You are physically experiencing a low vibration. In contrast, a thought of sincere appreciation or love sends a fast, light, coherent frequency through your body. It triggers the release of beneficial neurochemicals like oxytocin and serotonin. Your body relaxes. Your breathing deepens. You are physically experiencing a high vibration. Let us use a different analogy to make this clear. Imagine that your consciousness is a perfectly still, clear pond of water. Every single thought you think is like a small pebble dropped into that pond. A calm, peaceful thought is a smooth, round pebble. It creates beautiful, coherent, concentric ripples that expand gracefully across the entire surface. A fearful, anxious thought is like a jagged, sharp stone. When it hits the water, it creates chaotic, hurrying, and dissonant splashes that disrupt the stillness of the entire pond. Now, imagine you are thinking thousands of thoughts every hour. Are you dropping smooth pebbles or jagged stones? Is the surface of your consciousness a pattern of harmonious ripples? Or is it a turbulent storm of interfering waves? The sum total of these ripples, the overall state of the water, is your dominant vibration. It is the energetic signal you are constantly sending out to the world. A person living in gratitude and peace has a smooth, harmonious signal. A person living in anger and fear has a chaotic, dissonant signal. This is where your power lies. You are the one choosing which pebbles to drop into the pond. Most people do this unconsciously. They allow the external world, the news, other people's opinions, past traumas to throw jagged stones into their pond all day long. And then they wonder why their life feels so chaotic and turbulent. The conscious creator, the true architect, understands that their first and most important job is to guard the stillness of their pond. They consciously choose to drop in the smooth pebbles of loving, grateful, and empowered thoughts. They understand that the state of their inner water will determine the nature of the reality they experience. This isn't about ignoring life's challenges. It's about choosing how you respond to them. When a storm comes, do you add to the turbulence with panicked thoughts? Or do you seek to find your inner stillness, becoming the calm center of the storm? This brings us to a final, crucial shift in identity. You are not just the one dropping pebbles into the pond. In a deeper sense, you are the pond. Your fundamental nature is not fixed and solid, but fluid, adaptable, and responsive. Just like water, your being is the very medium through which the vibrations of thought travel. When you realize this, you understand that you can change your entire state of being by changing the thoughts you cultivate. You are not a victim of your feelings. You are the creator of the vibrations that produce them. This is the essence of self-mastery. It is the moment-by-moment practice of choosing a higher, more harmonious thought, thereby calming the waters of your own being. So, we see that we are all vibrating fields of energy, living within a larger vibrating universe. We see that our thoughts and feelings dictate our personal frequency, creating ripples that extend out from us into the world. A profound question naturally arises from this understanding. How does the larger ocean of the universe respond to the ripples we create? If we send out a harmonious wave, what comes back to us? If we send out a chaotic wave, what is the echo? This inevitable interaction, this universal law of response, where our inner vibrations call forth a matching outer reality, is governed by the most famous principle of all. It is the powerful, impartial, and ever-present law of attraction. We stand now at the threshold of a great understanding. We have journeyed inward to discover that our mind is the architect of our reality. We have journeyed deeper still, into the very fabric of the cosmos, to find that everything, including our thoughts, is a field of vibrating energy, and we have seen how we, as human beings, are like living tuning forks, constantly broadcasting a signal, a specific frequency, out into the universe. The profound and inevitable question that arises is, what happens next? What does the universe do with the signal we send? The answer is found in a law as fundamental, as impartial, and as unfailing as the law of gravity. It is the great cosmic echo, the principle of resonance that organizes the symphony of creation. It is the law of attraction. For many, this law has been shrouded in misconception, often portrayed as a magical trick for getting what you want, a kind of cosmic vending machine, but its true nature is far more profound and far less mysterious. The law of attraction is not something you do or turn on. It is a universal principle that is always in operation. Just like gravity, you don't have to believe in gravity for it to hold you to the earth. You don't have to understand the complex physics of it for a dropped apple to fall to the ground. It is simply the way the universe is structured. The law of attraction is the same. It is always working, always responding to your vibration, whether you are conscious of it or not. The law simply states this: that which is like unto itself is drawn. In other words, vibrations of a similar frequency are drawn together. Like attracts like. Birds of a feather flock together. It is an organizing principle that ensures harmony and order in the universe. A cell attracts the precise nutrients it needs to build itself. A seed in the ground attracts the minerals and water required for its growth. And a human being, a conscious field of vibrating energy, attracts circumstances, people, and experiences that are a perfect vibrational match to their dominant state of being. This leads us to the single most important clarification about this law, a distinction that changes everything. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. Your fleeting wants and desires are often born from a place of lack. When you say, "I want more money," the dominant vibration you are often broadcasting is one of not having enough money. When you plead, "I want to find a loving partner," the energy you are emitting is frequently one of loneliness and incompletion. The universe, in its impersonal and perfect wisdom, does not respond to your words. It responds to the vibration, the feeling, the energy behind your words. And so, if you are vibrating at the frequency of lack, it can only echo back to you more experiences that generate the feeling of lack. This is not a punishment. It is simply the law of resonance in action. The echo can only be of the original sound. Therefore, the work is not to want something harder. The work is to become a vibrational match to the thing you desire. Think of yourself as a radio receiver. If you want to listen to a classical music station broadcasting at 101.5 FM, it doesn't matter how badly you want to hear Mozart. If your radio dial is tuned to a rock station at 92.3 FM, you will only ever hear rock music. You don't get angry at the radio. You simply understand that you need to change the frequency. Your emotional and vibrational state is your frequency dial. To attract love, you must become a beacon of love. You must tune yourself to the frequency of compassion, self-worth, and openness. To attract abundance, you must tune yourself to the frequency of gratitude, security, and generosity. Feeling prosperous long before the evidence appears in your bank account, you must be the thing you wish to attract. So how do we tune our frequency? The primary tool is your focus. There is a simple but powerful axiom that governs all creation: energy flows where attention goes. Your attention is like a spotlight, and whatever you shine it upon, you energize and magnify. If you constantly focus your attention on your debts, your illnesses, your grievances, and your fears, you are actively pouring your life force energy into those creations. You are, in effect, using your divine power of focus to pray for the very things you do not want. Worrying is a form of negative goal setting. When you focus on what you lack, You are instructing the universe to bring you more experiences of lack. Conversely, when you consciously and deliberately place your attention on what you are grateful for, on what is working in your life, on your dreams and aspirations, as if they were already real, you are shining that same powerful spotlight on the reality you do wish to create. You are watering the flowers instead of the weeds. This can seem like a daunting task, especially when your current reality feels so far from what you desire. This is why it is often wise to start small. To build your belief muscle. This idea, popularized in works like The Secret, is a powerful way to provide yourself with irrefutable proof that this law is real. Don't start by trying to manifest $1 million. Start with something simple, something you have no emotional resistance to. For example, set a clear intention to see a purple feather, or to have someone give you a free cup of coffee, or to find a parking spot right at the front of a busy store. Hold the idea lightly in your mind. Feel the gentle expectation of it happening, and then let it go. When, in a day or two, you are walking down the street, and a flash of purple on the ground catches your eye, and it is a small feather, you will feel a jolt of recognition. Or when a friend unexpectedly says, "Let me get this," as you order your coffee, you will feel a click of understanding. These small synchronicities are the universe winking at you, showing you that it heard your signal and responded. They are training exercises that prove the connection between your inner focus and your outer world. Building the faith you need to apply this principle to the larger areas of your life. It is also crucial to clear up a few common and potentially harmful misconceptions. The law of attraction is not a call for toxic positivity, for plastering a fake smile over genuine pain. It is not about suppressing negative emotions. In fact, suppression is a form of resistance that only intensifies the negative vibration. The key is to acknowledge your fear, your sadness, or your anger without setting up camp there. Feel it, honor it as a signal, and then consciously do the work to shift your focus back to a better feeling thought. Furthermore, this law should never be used as a tool to blame victims for their misfortune. We live in a world with complex energies and unconscious collective programming. People do not consciously attract tragedy. It is often the result of deep-seated, unconscious, default vibrations from childhood or past trauma. The purpose of understanding this law is not to assign blame for the past, but to claim empowerment for the future. It is about realizing that from this moment forward, you can begin to consciously choose your vibration, and therefore, consciously influence your future. So, the universal echo is always listening, always responding. It is a perfect mirror, reflecting back to us the quality of our own vibration. But how can we know for sure what signal we are sending out in any given moment? How can we check our frequency dial to see where it is tuned? Fortunately, you have been given a perfect, infallible, moment-to-moment feedback system. It is a guidance mechanism so exquisitely designed that it never fails to tell you whether you are vibrating in harmony with your desires or in opposition to them. This unerring internal compass is your emotional system. Your feelings are the language the universe uses to speak directly to you. We have arrived at a pivotal understanding. We know that the universe operates on the law of vibration, and that the law of attraction is the impartial echo that responds to our energetic signal. This knowledge is powerful, but it can also feel abstract. It raises the most practical and personal question of all. In any given moment, how do I know what I am vibrating? How can I be sure of the signal I am sending out? The reality I am currently in the process of attracting the universe, in its infinite intelligence and compassion, did not leave you without a compass. It has equipped you with a guidance system so precise, so immediate, and so deeply personal that it is utterly infallible. This guidance system is your emotions. Your feelings are not random. They are not a punishment, and they are not a weakness. They are the language of your soul, a direct line of communication from your inner being, constantly telling you everything you need to know about your own vibrational alignment. Think of it like the guidance system in a modern vehicle. When you program a destination into your GPS, it doesn't criticize you for making a wrong turn. It simply reroutes you. It calmly says, "Turn left at the next street." Your emotions work in precisely the same way. Your inner being, the truest, highest, most expanded version of you, is always holding the vision of your desired destination, a state of well-being, joy, and abundance. When your current thoughts and focus begin to stray from that path, a signal is sent. That signal is a negative emotion, a feeling of worry, anxiety, or frustration is nothing more than your internal GPS saying, recalculating. The thought you are currently thinking is not in vibrational harmony with who you truly are and what you truly want. It is a check engine light on your spiritual dashboard. You wouldn't get angry at the light on your car's dashboard. You would be grateful for the information it provides, knowing it is alerting you to an issue before it becomes critical. We must learn to have this same gratitude for our so-called negative emotions. They are not the problem. They are simply the indicator of a thought that is the problem. Conversely, when you feel good, when you experience feelings of joy, appreciation, passion, or peace, that is your guidance system confirming that you are on the right track. It's the calm, confident voice of the GPS saying, "Proceed straight. You are heading directly towards your destination." A positive emotion is the feeling of alignment. It is the feeling of allowing the fullness of who you are to flow through you without resistance. It is the feeling of your current thoughts being in harmony with the broader perspective of your inner being. Therefore, the goal is not to eliminate negative emotions, but to understand them. They are not enemies to be fought or suppressed. They are sacred messengers. When fear knocks on your door, it is delivering a message. You are focused on a potential outcome that is not in alignment with your well-being. When anger arrives, its message might be, you are perceiving an injustice, and a core value is being challenged. When we learn to thank the emotion for its message and then gently examine the underlying thought that invited it, we transform our relationship with ourselves. We move from being a victim of our moods to being a conscious interpreter of our soul's own language. To make this practical, we can envision what is often called the emotional guidance scale. Imagine a ladder or a vibrational spectrum. At the very top, in the realm of the fastest, highest frequencies, are the emotions of your true nature: joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. This is your natural state. This is home, at the very bottom of the ladder, in the realm of the slowest, densest frequencies, are emotions like fear, grief, despair, insecurity, and powerlessness. The crucial insight of this scale is that you cannot make a huge leap from the bottom to the top. If you are in a state of deep despair, trying to force yourself to feel joy is an impossible jump. It feels fake. It creates more resistance. And it ultimately makes you feel worse for failing to be positive. The work is far more gentle. Far more compassionate. The work is simply to seek relief. The only goal is to find a thought that feels slightly better than the one you are currently thinking. Let's walk up this ladder. If you are at the bottom rung of powerlessness, a thought that generates a feeling of blame might actually be a step up. Blame is still a negative emotion, but it has more power and agency in it than pure despair. From blame, you might find a thought that leads to frustration. Frustration is a higher frequency than blame. It's an active energy that wants things to change. From frustration, you might be able to reach for a feeling of hopefulness. Hopefulness feels significantly better, lighter. It is the beginning of turning your attention toward a desired future. From hopefulness, you can more easily find a thought that feels like optimism. And from the platform of optimism, the feeling of pure joy and belief is just a small step away. The goal is never to deny how you feel. The goal is to acknowledge where you are on the ladder, and then gently, lovingly, reach for the next rung up. That is the art of deliberately shifting your vibration. A simpler way to think of this is like the childhood game of hot and cold. Your inner being knows where the treasure is, the feeling of joy and alignment. As you move through life, thinking thoughts, your emotions are constantly telling you if you're getting warmer or colder. When you start to worry about a bill, you feel a knot in your stomach. Your guidance system is shouting colder, colder. When you then shift your focus, perhaps to remember a time you successfully handled a financial challenge, you might feel a slight release of tension. A sliver of relief, your system says. Warmer. You're getting warmer. When you then manage to feel genuine gratitude for the roof over your head or the food in your fridge, you feel a wave of warmth and peace. Hot. You're getting very hot. Your only job, in any moment, is to do your best to reach for a thought that feels a little bit warmer. That's it. That is the entire game of conscious creation. It is the moment-by-moment process of using your emotional compass to guide you back home to the feeling of well-being. So now, we have a complete foundational understanding. We are the architects of our reality, working with the material of vibrating energy, governed by the law of attraction, and we have a perfect, infallible GPS system, our emotions, to guide us. We know how to read the map. The next logical, exciting step is to learn how to actively drive the car. If our emotions tell us when we are off course, what are the tools we can use to consciously steer ourselves back onto the path we desire? Our journey now shifts from understanding the passive laws of the universe to learning the active techniques of the conscious creator. We will move from theory to practice, from knowledge to application, and we will begin with one of the most powerful and tangible tools available for redesigning your reality. A technique that solidifies thought into a form that the universe can begin to work with. We are about to learn how to become the author of our own story. Through the power of scripting, we have now arrived at a truly exciting point in our journey. We have accepted our role as the architect of our reality. We understand the vibrational materials we are working with, and we have learned to read the infallible compass of our emotions. We know when we are on course and when we have strayed. The question now becomes, how do we consciously and deliberately steer? How do we take the vague desires of our heart and the fleeting thoughts in our mind and give them form, substance, and direction? We do this by moving from passive thinking to active creation. And one of the most ancient, powerful, and tangible methods for this is the art of scripting. It is the act of taking a pen and paper and writing your reality into existence. Do not mistake this for simple wishful thinking or diary keeping. Scripting is a profound magical act. It is the physical process of transmuting an invisible, ethereal thought into a concrete, physical form. When you simply think a thought, it can be fleeting, easily distracted, but when you decide to write it down, something powerful happens. A direct connection is forged between your mind, your body, and the material world. Your brain must hold the intention with clarity. It then sends complex nerve signals to your arm and hand, coordinating dozens of muscles with exquisite precision to form letters and words on a page. This very act of physical effort, this mind-to-muscle-to-paper transmission, sends a powerful message to your subconscious mind. It says, this is not just a passing fantasy. This is important. This is an instruction. This is real. In a world of digital distraction, the slow, deliberate, ritualistic act of handwriting, in particular, anchors your intention into the physical plane like nothing else. It is a declaration of creation. There are several effective methods of scripting, and you can choose the one that resonates most deeply with you. One of the most immersive techniques is to script your ideal day. You take your journal, and you write, in the first person and in the present tense, a detailed narrative of a single, perfect day in the reality you wish to experience. You do not write, one day, I will wake up in a beautiful house. You write. I wake up this morning and a feeling of deep peace washes over me. I stretch in my comfortable bed, and the morning sun streams through the large window, illuminating the beautiful room. I can smell the fresh coffee brewing downstairs. I walk onto my balcony and look out at the ocean, feeling immense gratitude for this incredible life. You continue this narrative throughout the entire day. What work do you do? Describe the feeling of passion and purpose. Who do you interact with? Describe the loving, supportive, and joyful connections. The key is to engage all of your senses and, most importantly, to focus on the feelings. Describe the feeling of security, of freedom, of love, of vibrant health. You are not just writing a story, you are creating a vibrational blueprint for your subconscious mind to begin working on. Another powerful method is as if journaling. This is where you write a journal entry dated for the near future. Say, 6 months from now. From the perspective of the person who has already achieved your desire. For instance, Dear Journal, it is the 25th of December, and I am sitting here in awe of everything that has unfolded in the last 6 months. I am so happy and grateful that my new business is thriving beyond my wildest dreams. I feel so fulfilled working with my amazing clients. And the financial abundance has brought such a wonderful sense of freedom and security to my family. By writing it as a memory of something that has already happened, you bypass the critical mind's doubt and speak directly to the subconscious, which accepts what it is told as fact. The dominant emotion here should be gratitude. Gratitude is the ultimate state of receiving. Thanking the universe for something you have not yet seen with your physical eyes is a supreme act of faith, and it aligns your energy perfectly with the reality of its existence. Perhaps the most famous modern example of this principle in action is the story of the actor Jim Carrey. In the early 1990s, when he was still a struggling, relatively unknown comedian, he did something audacious. He took out a checkbook, wrote a check to himself for $10 million. And in the memo line, he wrote, "For acting services rendered." He then postdated the check for Thanksgiving. 1995. He put that check in his wallet and carried it with him everywhere. It was a constant, physical reminder of his clear, specific intention. It was his script. He would look at it and feel what it would be like to have that check be real. Tragically, his father passed away. And at the funeral, Jim placed that check into his father's casket as a final tribute. He released it. Then, just before Thanksgiving of 1995, he got the news. He had been cast in the movie Dumb and Dumber, and his salary for the role was $10 million. This story is a perfect encapsulation of scripting. He had a crystal clear vision, a specific amount for a specific service. He used a physical object to anchor that vision. He aligned with the feeling of it. And then, through a profound emotional event, he completely let it go, signaling his ultimate trust in the universe. This brings us to a crucial point about the art of scripting. Your job is to define the what and the why, but you must release control over the how. Your script is the destination you are programming into your cosmic GPS. You get crystal clear on what the destination looks like and, more importantly, what it feels like to be there. That is your sacred work. The universe's job is to calculate the route. The how is not your concern. The universe has a vantage point you cannot possibly have. It may orchestrate a series of synchronicities, unexpected phone calls, random encounters, and surprising opportunities that you could never have conceived of. If you try to micromanage the how in your script, you are telling the universe you don't trust it. You are limiting the infinite possibilities to the narrow confines of your own logic. Script the end result. Immerse yourself in the feeling of its fulfillment, and then let go, trusting that the perfect path is being orchestrated for you. So, the act of writing solidifies thought into form. It creates a clear blueprint for your subconscious mind and for the universe to work with. It is an act of profound focus and intention. But a written script is still just words on a page. To truly supercharge the creative process, to convince every cell in your being that this new reality is not just possible, but inevitable, you must take the next step. You must direct the movie. You must sit in the theater of your mind and watch the film of your scripted reality. To bring the blueprint to life, you must be able to see it. We must now move from the pen of the writer to the eye of the visionary and learn the magnificent art of visualization. We have just explored the power of scripting, of anchoring your intention onto the physical page. You have written the story of the reality you wish to create. Now, you must become the director. You must take that script and produce the film. You must project it in vivid, living color onto the most powerful screen in the universe, the screen of your own mind. This is the art of visualization, a practice so potent that it has been used for centuries by mystics, inventors, and now by the highest performing individuals in every field of human endeavor. It is the next essential step in learning to speak the native language of your subconscious mind, the language of images and feelings. The foundational principle that gives visualization its incredible power is this: your subconscious mind, the vast and powerful operating system that runs your bodily functions, your habits, and your deep-seated beliefs, does not know the difference between a real experience and an experience that is vividly and intensely imagined. For your subconscious, seeing is believing, and feeling is reality. You can prove this to yourself right now. Take a moment, close your eyes, and imagine a bright yellow lemon. See its waxy, dimpled skin. Imagine holding its cool weight in your hand. Now, in your mind's eye, place it on a cutting board and slice it in half. See the juice burst forth. See the glistening pulp. Now, bring one of those halves up to your mouth and imagine taking a deep, sour bite. What happens for most people? The mouth begins to water. Your salivary glands have responded to a purely imaginary event as if it were real. Your body has reacted to a picture in your mind. This simple exercise reveals the master key to creation. If you can make your body believe you are eating a lemon, you can make your subconscious mind and your nervous system believe you are living in your desired reality. So how do we create a visualization that is as real as biting into a lemon? The secret is to create a fully immersive, multi-sensory experience. Many people make the mistake of creating a flat, silent movie, but you must go further. You must engage all of your senses. If your desire is to live in a house by the ocean, I don't just see the house. What do you hear? Hear the sound of the waves crashing on the shore, the cry of the gulls overhead. What do you smell? Smell the salty air, the scent of blooming flowers in your garden. What do you feel? Feel the warmth of the sun on your skin, the cool ocean breeze in your hair, the rough texture of the wooden deck beneath your bare feet. What do you taste? Perhaps you are sipping a cool drink. Taste it. The more sensory detail you layer into your mental scene, the more real and believable it becomes to your subconscious mind. It is also crucial that you see this scene from a first-person perspective. You are not watching a movie of yourself from a distance. You are looking through your own eyes. You are looking down and seeing your own hands holding the coffee cup. You are experiencing it from the inside out. Yet, even a perfect, multi-sensory image is not enough. There is one final, critical ingredient that ignites the entire process, that transforms a mental picture into a vibrational beacon to the universe. That ingredient is emotion. A visualization without feeling is a car without fuel. It's a blueprint without power. The emotion is what charges the scene with magnetic, attractive energy. As you are living in your mental creation, you must intentionally generate the feelings of the wish fulfilled. Feel the overwhelming sense of peace as you look out at the ocean. Feel the deep, soul-satisfying joy of being with your loving partner. Feel the exhilarating freedom and security that comes with financial abundance. Feel the vibrant, radiant health coursing through your veins. You must marinate in these feelings. Let them saturate every cell of your being. The primary purpose of visualization is not just to see what you want. It is to feel what it is like to have it. That feeling, that elevated emotion, is the prayer that the universe hears and responds to. If this sounds fantastical, consider the world of elite athletics. For decades, the world's greatest athletes have used visualization, or what they call mental rehearsal. As a core part of their training, Olympic skiers will close their eyes at the top of a run and mentally rehearse every single turn, every bump, every gate, feeling the pull in their muscles and the rush of the wind. Basketball players will visualize hundreds of perfect free throws, seeing the ball arc through the air and swish cleanly through the net. Scientific studies have confirmed the astonishing effectiveness of this. Researchers have attached sensors to these athletes and found that when they are mentally rehearsing their sport, their brain patterns are identical to when they are physically performing it. Their muscles even fire in the same sequence. In tiny, imperceptible microcontractions, they are literally building and strengthening the neural pathways for success in their brain, creating muscle memory, all without moving an inch. They are programming their mind and body for victory before the competition even begins. This is not a mystical practice for them. It is a proven, high-performance technology. And if it can work for them to win a gold medal, it can work for you to create the life of your dreams. It is important to distinguish this kind of active, focused visualization from passive daydreaming. Daydreaming often comes from a place of lack, a wistful escape from a reality you don't like. It lacks the focus, the sensory detail, and most importantly, the intentional emotion of the wish fulfilled. Visualization is a conscious, disciplined act of creation. It is a practice, and like any practice, repetition is key. You are literally rewiring your brain. For years, your brain has been firing and wiring in patterns of your old reality. Through consistent mental rehearsal, you begin to carve new neural pathways. You make the feeling of your future reality more familiar to your brain than the feeling of your past. You do this until your body no longer knows the difference, until it believes the new reality is already here. This is the point where the mind has been changed. And when the mind is changed, the external manifestation is inevitable. The silent movie in your mind is powerful. The emotions you attach to it give it life. Now, imagine giving this movie a soundtrack. Imagine reinforcing these powerful images and feelings with consistent, deliberate words that align with your new reality. The images and the words can work together, creating a feedback loop that amplifies your creative power exponentially. A picture is worth 1,000 words. But a picture combined with the right words becomes a world. What, then, are the words we should repeat to ourselves to score the movie of our mind? What is the verbal magic that can help us speak our desired world into being? This leads us to our next powerful tool, the art of affirmations. We have learned to write the script for our new reality and to direct the movie in the theater of our mind. We have engaged the senses and generated the elevated emotions of the wish fulfilled. Now, we add the final layer of creative power, the verbal command, the vibrational incantation that gives voice to our vision. This is the magic of affirmations. Throughout human history, in every spiritual tradition and sacred text, the power of the spoken word has been revered. In the beginning was the Word, and God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. These are not just poetic phrases, they are clues to the creative nature of the universe. Words are not merely descriptors of reality. They are vibrational packets of energy that have the power to shape reality. An affirmation is the conscious, deliberate use of words to program your subconscious mind and to declare your chosen reality to the universe. To wield this power effectively, we must first understand the anatomy of a potent affirmation. There are a few simple but non-negotiable rules. First, an affirmation must always be stated in the positive. Your subconscious mind does not process negatives easily. If you say, I don't want to be sick anymore. The subconscious latches onto the dominant word, sick. You are still focusing your energy on the condition you wish to avoid. Instead, you must state what you do want. The powerful affirmation is, I am vibrantly healthy and full of energy. Always frame your statement in terms of the desired outcome, not the problem you are leaving behind. Second, and this is absolutely crucial, an affirmation must be in the present tense, using words like I will be or I am going to be is a subtle trap. It tells the universe that this desire is something that exists in the future, and so it remains, always on the horizon, but never here. You must use the two most powerful words of creation. I am. I am abundant. I am confident. I am in a loving, joyful relationship. This commands your subconscious mind to accept this as your current reality. Right now, it is a declaration, not a request. Third, an affirmation should be personal and emotional. It must begin with I or my to claim it as your own truth. But more importantly, the words must stir a feeling within you. An affirmation repeated mechanically, like a robot, has very little power. The words are the vehicle, but the emotion is the fuel. As you say the words, I am worthy and deserving of all good things, you must do your best to actually feel a sense of worthiness, a warmth of self-acceptance. The alignment of the word and the feeling is what creates the potent, magnetic vibration that attracts your desire. Now, many who begin this practice encounter a common and often discouraging obstacle. You stand in front of the mirror and declare, I am a successful and wealthy person. And immediately, a cynical voice in your head screams back, no, you're not. Look at your overdue bills. Who are you kidding? This internal backlash, this feeling of conflict, is not a sign that the affirmations are failing. On the contrary, it is a sign that they are beginning to work. Your new, empowering thought is shining a light into the darkness of your subconscious, revealing the old, limiting belief that has been running the show. The old belief is coming to the surface to be seen, challenged, and ultimately released. The key is not to fight this voice, but to treat it with compassion and persistence. There are ways to soften this initial resistance. If a bold statement, like I am a millionaire, feels like too big a lie, you can start with a gentler, more believable bridge affirmation. You could say, I am open and willing to receive more abundance into my life. Or I am getting better and better at creating financial freedom. These statements are undeniably true and do not create as much internal conflict. Another powerful technique is to use the framework of choice. Instead of declaring something that feels untrue, you declare your power to choose your focus. I choose to see the opportunities for abundance that surround me. I choose to believe in my own worth. This shifts the power back to you without creating a direct war with your current reality. The most important element of all is consistency. Repeating your affirmations for just a few minutes every single day is far more powerful than a single long session once a month. You are carving new grooves, new neural pathways in your brain. You are creating a new habit of thought. And habits are built through patient, daily repetition. One of the greatest pioneers in understanding this direct link between our thought patterns and our life experience was the beloved author and teacher, Louise Hay. In her groundbreaking book, You Can Heal Your Life, she put forth the revolutionary idea that our physical ailments are often direct manifestations of our chronic, negative thought patterns. She observed that specific diseases corresponded to specific emotional and mental states. For example, she linked throat problems like laryngitis to a fear of speaking up or the feeling that one has no right to be heard. She connected kidney problems to criticism, disappointment, and failure. Her genius was not just in identifying the problem, but in providing the solution. For every limiting thought pattern, she created a new, healing thought pattern. a positive affirmation designed to create the mental equivalent of perfect health. So, for the person with laryngitis, the healing affirmation would be, I claim my right to speak up for myself. I express myself freely and joyfully. For the person with kidney issues, the affirmation becomes, I see only the good in every experience. It is safe for me to grow and change. I approve of myself. Louise Hay taught millions that by consciously choosing and repeating these new thoughts, they could release the old patterns of resentment and fear and allow the body's natural state of well-being to re-emerge. This provides a powerful, tangible testament to the fact that our words, repeated with conviction, have the power to restructure not just our outer world, but our very physical bodies. To make this practice a seamless part of your life, you can integrate your affirmations into your daily routines. One of the most potent methods is mirror work. This involves looking yourself directly in the eyes in a mirror, connecting with your own soul and speaking your affirmations aloud. It can feel uncomfortable at first, but it is a radical act of self-love and acceptance. You can also write your affirmations on sticky notes and place them on your bathroom mirror, your computer monitor, or your car's dashboard. Create a recording of yourself speaking your affirmations and listen to it during your commute or while exercising. Attach an affirmation to a daily habit. Every time you have a drink of water, you can say to yourself, I am nourishing my body and my soul. By weaving these positive statements into the fabric of your day, you transform them from a chore into a constant, gentle, and powerful reprogramming of your entire being. We have now learned to script our reality, to visualize it, and to affirm it with our words. We have the tools to build a powerful new blueprint. But what happens when, despite all our efforts, there remains a persistent gap between the words we say and the feeling in our heart? What do we do when our mind accepts the possibility, but our soul doesn't yet feel the certainty? This is the chasm between hoping for a new reality and knowing it is done. To create true, effortless manifestation, we must build a bridge across that chasm. We must learn the sacred art of embodying the feeling of the wish fulfilled. We must learn to live in the end. We have now learned to script the story, direct the movie, and compose the soundtrack for our new reality. We have armed ourselves with the powerful tools of scripting, visualization, and affirmation. Yet, for many, there remains a subtle but profound chasm. It is the gap between saying the words and truly believing them, between seeing the image and feeling its reality in our bones. It is the gap between hope and faith. Hope is a beautiful starting point, but it lives in the future, wishing for a desired outcome. Faith, on the other hand, lives in the present moment. It is a state of calm, confident, knowing that what is desired is already done. Our final task in this stage of our journey is to build a bridge across that chasm, to walk from the land of hope into the kingdom of faith. This is the art of embodying the feeling, the practice of what one of the 20th century's most profound mystical teachers, Neville Goddard, called assuming the wish fulfilled. Neville taught a simple yet radical principle: creation is already finished. Every potential reality, every possible outcome you could ever imagine, already exists as a potentiality in the quantum field, the mind of God. Your job is not to struggle and strain to create something new out of nothing. Your job is to simply select the reality you wish to experience by occupying it in your imagination. His famous statement was this: an assumption, though false, if persisted in, will harden into fact. This is the master key. You must assume that you already are the person you want to be, that you already have the thing you want to have, and you must live from that state of being. You do not try to acquire it. You assume you already possess it. You are not trying to become wealthy. You are living from the state of being a wealthy person. You are not trying to find love. You are living from the state of being a person who is deeply and unconditionally loved. This is where a critical distinction must be made. This is not about faking it till you make it. Faking it is an external act, a mask you wear for others, while internally feeling like a fraud. It often creates more anxiety and a sense of being an imposter. The practice of living in the end, however, is a purely internal discipline. It has nothing to do with deceiving others and everything to do with convincing your own subconscious mind. It is about changing your self-concept. You must become a method actor for your desired reality. A great actor doesn't just memorize lines. They study their character so deeply that they begin to think their character's thoughts and feel their character's emotions. They embody the role. In the same way, you must embody the role of the person who has what you desire. How would that person think? How would they walk? How would they carry themselves? What would their inner conversations sound like? You live from that assumed state. Internally, regardless of what the external world, your shadow world, is currently reflecting back to you. The practical question then becomes, how do you maintain this feeling? This assumption, when your five senses are showing you evidence to the contrary. This requires gentle but persistent mental discipline. One powerful technique is to create emotional anchors. These are small, deliberate triggers that instantly transport you back into the feeling of your wish fulfilled. It could be a specific song that makes you feel invincible, a photograph that represents your goal, or a piece of jewelry that you designate as a symbol of your new reality. Throughout the day, when you feel yourself slipping into old patterns of thought, you can use your anchor to immediately shift your state. Another crucial practice is what Neville called a mental diet. This means you consciously refuse to indulge in thoughts and inner conversations that contradict your assumption. When a thought of doubt or lack appears, you don't fight it or fear it. You simply notice it and gently say no thank you, and turn your attention back to a thought that aligns with your fulfilled desire. It is the constant, gentle guiding of your mind away from the problem and back to the solution, which is your assumption lived in as fact. Belief is not a magical switch that you flip on. It is a muscle that you build, a garden that you cultivate, and you cultivate it through your actions. You must begin to act as if. This doesn't mean acting irresponsibly. It means performing small, congruent actions that signal to your subconscious that you are serious about your new identity. If your desire is to be a healthy, vibrant person, you act as if by choosing to take a walk instead of staying on the couch, or by drinking a glass of water instead of a sugary soda. Each action is a vote you cast for your new reality. If you desire to be an accomplished writer, you act as if by dedicating 30 minutes each day to writing. Even if no one is reading it yet, you are being the writer. If your desire is to feel abundant, you act as if by leaving a generous tip, by buying a coffee for the person behind you, or by simply appreciating the richness of a sunset. These are not acts to get abundance. They are acts performed from the state of being abundant. Age small. Congruent action proves the reality of your assumption to your own mind. Neville Goddard's deepest teachings revolved around the use of imagination just before sleep, in what he called the state akin to sleep, or SATS. This is the drowsy, relaxed state where the conscious, critical mind is quiet, and the door to the subconscious is wide open. He taught that in this state, you should construct a short, simple scene, which implies that your wish has already been fulfilled. If you desire a promotion, you might imagine a friend shaking your hand and saying, "Congratulations on the new position." You don't imagine the process of getting the promotion. You imagine a scene that takes place after it is done. You loop this short scene over and over in your mind, feeling the thrill and reality of it, until you drift off to sleep. In doing this, you are impressing your desire directly onto the creative subconscious mind, which will then begin to orchestrate the events and synchronicities necessary to bring it forth into your world. The feeling is the secret. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is the creative act that selects your reality from the infinite field of possibility. We have now explored the active, focused, and disciplined side of creation. It is the work of scripting, visualizing, affirming, and assuming the state of your desire. It is the great inhale of the creative process, the gathering of energy and focus. But all of this effort, all of this holding of a state, can create a tension of its own if it is not balanced by its opposite. After you have done the work, after you have impressed the subconscious and assumed the feeling of the end, there is one final, supreme art you must master. It is the art of the exhale. It is the art of release, of trust, and of non-resistance. It is the art of getting out of your own way and letting the universe do its part. It is the sacred art of allowing. We have spent this entire phase of our journey focused on the active, dynamic principles of creation. We have learned to be the focused architect, the diligent writer, the visionary director, and the disciplined actor, all in the service of building a new reality. We have learned how to gather our focus, to charge our emotions, to impress our desires upon the subconscious mind. This is the great and necessary inhale of the creative process. But every inhale, no matter how deep, must be followed by an exhale. This exhale, this release, is not an afterthought. It is an equally powerful and absolutely essential part of creation. It is the art of getting out of your own way. It is the sacred practice of letting go. It is the art of allowing. The single greatest obstacle to receiving the things we have asked for is our own resistance. After we have performed our creative rituals, our scripting, our visualization, our affirmations, the ego mind often goes into overdrive. It begins to worry. Is it working? When will it get here? I don't see any evidence. Maybe I'm not doing it right. This state of worry, doubt, impatience, and the desperate need to control the outcome is what we call resistance. Imagine you have placed an order for a package to be delivered. The package represents your desire. The delivery service is the universe. Resistance is like calling the delivery service every 5 minutes, demanding to know where the driver is, suggesting alternate routes, and constantly checking the tracking number with a feeling of anxiety. All of this frantic energy doesn't speed up the delivery. In fact, it only fills your own being with a vibration of lack and disbelief. The very frequencies that repel the thing you want. You are, essentially, telling the universe, I don't trust you to deliver this. A wiser and more ancient analogy is that of the gardener. You, the conscious creator, are the gardener. Your desire is the seed. You have done the initial work with great care. You have prepared the soil of your mind. You have chosen a high-quality seed, and you have planted it with clear intention in the fertile ground of your subconscious. The wise gardener, having done this, now steps back. He does not dig up the seed every morning to see if roots are forming. To do so would be to kill the very creation he has initiated. The wise gardener trusts the process. He trusts the invisible laws of nature that he cannot see. He knows that the sun, the rain, and the soil have a wisdom of their own. His job now shifts from active planting to faithful nurturing. He waters the ground with positive expectation. He pulls the weeds of doubt as they appear. But he does not try to pry open the seed and force it to grow. He allows it to unfold in its own perfect time. This is the state of allowing. It is a profound trust in the unseen forces that govern all growth. To use another metaphor, imagine you have gone to dine at the finest restaurant in the world, one run by a master chef. The universe is this master chef. You sit down and study the menu. This is the process of getting clear on your desire. You place your order with the waiter. This is the act of sending your intention out through visualization and affirmation. And then, what do? You lean back. You enjoy the music. You have a pleasant conversation. You sip your water. You trust implicitly that the master chef in the kitchen, with his years of experience and his team of experts, is preparing your meal to perfection. It would be absurd, even insulting, to storm into the kitchen and start telling the chef how to chop the vegetables or what temperature to use for the sauce. You trust that he knows the process far better than you do. So why do we not afford the same trust to the universe? The infinite intelligence that orchestrates the rising of the sun and the turning of the tides. Our job is to place our order with clarity and faith, The how and the when are the domain of the master chef. Our attempts to control them only interfere with the meal's preparation. So how do we cultivate this state of trust and release? How do we stop digging up the seed? The most powerful tools for this are the practices of meditation and mindfulness. Meditation is the simple art of quieting the mind. For a few minutes each day, you sit and gently turn your focus away from the endless chatter of your thoughts and toward the simple sensation of your breath. In doing so, and you give the anxious, controlling ego mind a rest. In the silent spaces between your thoughts, you cease to generate resistant vibrations. You are not thinking about your desire. You are not worrying about its absence. You are simply being. This state of pure, thoughtless being is the ultimate state of allowing. It is like opening the dam and letting the river of well-being flow unimpeded. Mindfulness, similarly, is the practice of being radically present in the now. Resistance almost always lives in the past regret, resentment, or the future worry. Anxiety, when you are fully and completely present in this moment, truly tasting the food you are eating, truly feeling the warmth of the shower on your skin, truly listening to the sounds around you, you cannot be in a state of resistance. In the present moment, all is well. Presence is the master key to peace, and peace is the fertile ground of allowing. It is crucial to understand the difference between letting go and giving up. They may seem similar, but vibrationally, they are polar opposites. Giving up is an act of despair. It comes from a place of hopelessness and disbelief. It is the sad conclusion that what you want is not possible, and so you drop the desire. It is a low-frequency state of resignation. Letting go, on the other hand, is an act of supreme faith. It is the peaceful and confident release of your attachment to the outcome because you trust so completely that it is on its way. It is moving from a needy, grasping energy to a calm, receptive energy. Letting go says to the universe, I have done my part. I have placed my order. I know you are handling the details, and I am excited to see how you deliver it. It is the ultimate affirmation of your trust in the process. It is the exhale. Yet, for so many of us, this is the hardest part. Why is it so difficult to trust? Why do the weeds of doubt and fear grow back so quickly? No matter how often we pull them, why do we feel this compulsive need to control, to worry, to dig up the seed? The answer lies deeper within us. It lies in the programming and conditioning we have received throughout our lives. We carry beliefs so old and so deep that they operate beneath our conscious awareness, constantly generating a default state of resistance. It is as if the very soil of our subconscious garden has been contaminated for years with the toxins of self-doubt, scarcity, and fear. Before we can truly become master gardeners, we must first do the work of healing the soil itself. This brings us to the next vital phase of our journey. We must now turn inward and face the shadows. We must learn to identify, confront, and transform the limiting beliefs that hold us back. We have reached a crucial understanding. We have learned the art of allowing and the importance of releasing resistance. Yet we have discovered that this is often the most difficult part. We find ourselves worrying when we want to trust, doubting when we want to believe, and hesitating when we want to act. Why? Because beneath the surface of our conscious mind, there is an entire world of programming that runs on autopilot. It is a landscape of old beliefs, unquestioned assumptions, and invisible fences that keep us tethered to our past. To truly be free, to truly become the master of our vibration, we must be willing to do the brave work of turning inward. We must become archaeologists of our own soul, gently digging into the past to uncover the foundations upon which our present reality is built. This is the journey into the shadows. This is the work of confronting our limiting beliefs. A limiting belief is a rule about reality that you accepted as true at some point in your life, and which now restricts you in some way. These beliefs are the silent software running in the background of your mind, influencing your perceptions, your feelings, your choices, and ultimately, Your results. They were often formed in childhood. When we were most impressionable, perhaps it was a parent who, out of their own fear, constantly said, "Money doesn't grow on trees," installing a belief in scarcity. Perhaps it was a teacher who offhandedly remarked, "You're just not a creative person," installing a belief in your own lack of talent. Others are formed from painful life experiences. A difficult breakup can install the belief, "I am not worthy of love." A business failure can cement the belief, "I am not capable of success." We accept these ideas as fact. And then our subconscious mind, in its loyalty, works tirelessly to prove them right, filtering our reality and guiding our actions to ensure our outer world always matches our inner blueprint. Let us imagine a woman named Sarah. Consciously, Sarah wants to be financially abundant. She reads the books. She does the affirmations. She visualizes having more than enough money to live freely and support the causes she cares about. Yet, her reality is one of constant struggle. She seems to hit an invisible ceiling. When she gets ahead, an unexpected expense always appears. When a great opportunity arises, it inexplicably falls through at the last minute. Sarah is in a state of civil war with herself. Her conscious mind is pushing the accelerator of abundance, but her subconscious mind is slamming on the brakes. Why? Through deep self-reflection, she begins the archaeological dig. She remembers her childhood. Her parents were kind, loving, and hardworking people, but they struggled financially. She recalls hearing them say things at the dinner table like, "Rich people are all greedy and corrupt, and it's more noble to be poor and honest than rich and crooked." In her young, impressionable mind, she formed a powerful equation. Money equals bad. Being wealthy equals being a bad person. Now, decades later, her subconscious mind is still operating on this prime directive. Its job is to protect her, to keep her good and safe. So, every time Sarah gets close to achieving real financial success, her subconscious self-sabotages the process to protect her from becoming the greedy, corrupt person she was taught to fear. Her conscious desire is in direct conflict with her core identity. This is the hidden battle that so many of us are fighting. So how do we bring these invisible enemies into the light? We must become gentle detectives. One of the most effective techniques is to follow the trail of your emotional triggers. When you have a strong, disproportionate emotional reaction to something, be it criticism, success in others, or a particular situation, it is a powerful clue. Pause and ask, what belief within me was just activated? What rule was just violated? Another method is to use the 5 whys technique. Start with a problem area in your life. And like a persistent child, ask why 5 times to drill down to the root. For example, I never seem to follow through on my creative projects. First, why? Because I'm afraid they won't be good enough. Second, why? Because I'm afraid people will judge me. Third, why? Because if they judge my work, they are judging me. Fourth, why? Because my self-worth is tied to my creative success. Fifth, why? Because deep down, I believe I am only valuable if I produce something perfect. And there it is. The root belief, my worth is conditional. Once you have excavated a limiting belief and brought it into the light of your conscious awareness, its power over you is already diminished. Now, you can begin the process of reframing and replacing it. First, you must question its authority. Is this belief absolutely 100% true? Let's take Sarah's belief that all rich people are greedy. Is that true? Can she find counterexamples? She could research philanthropists who have given away billions, or local business owners who are known for their generosity. By finding evidence that contradicts the old belief, she loosens its rigid grip on her mind. The second step is to consciously choose a new, empowering belief. Sarah might craft a new belief such as, Money is a beautiful tool for creating good in the world. Or I can be both fabulously wealthy and a deeply spiritual and generous person. This new belief is like a new seed. To make it grow, she must plant it and nurture it using the very tools we have already learned. She must write it down. She must create affirmations around it. The more money I have, the more good I can do. She must visualize what it feels like to be a wealthy philanthropist. To joyfully write a large check to a charity she loves. She must use her creative tools, not just to manifest things, but to manifest a new identity, a new set of core beliefs. This is the deepest work of all. It is using these universal laws to perform spiritual alchemy on yourself. It is absolutely vital that this process be undertaken with radical self-compassion, not self-blame. It is not your fault that you have these beliefs. They were formed when you were young, or during times of pain. Your subconscious mind adopted them in an attempt to make sense of the world and to keep you safe. The child within you did the best it could with the information it had. So, as you uncover these things, treat that inner child with love and reassurance. Thank the old belief for trying to protect you, and then lovingly inform it that you are an adult now, and you are consciously choosing a new set of rules that will serve you better. This is not about being broken, it is about becoming whole. As we shine the light of our awareness into these dark corners of our subconscious, we begin to notice a common theme. We see that so many of our limiting beliefs about not being good enough, smart enough, or worthy enough are designed to protect us from one primary, powerful, and pervasive emotion. It is the great shadow that stands behind all the others. It is the dragon that guards the treasure of our deepest desires. To continue on our path to freedom, we must now learn to face this dragon directly. We must learn to understand, confront, and tame the primal energy of fear. We have journeyed deep into the catacombs of our own subconscious, shining a light on the limiting beliefs that have shaped our lives. We have discovered that these beliefs, these old rules and assumptions, are the architects of our resistance and the source of our self-sabotage. And as we trace these beliefs to their emotional core, we find that nearly all of them lead to one place. They are the tributaries that flow into one great, powerful river. It is the most primal, most potent, and most paralyzing of all human emotions. It is fear. In the mythology of our own lives, fear is the great dragon that sits coiled around the treasure we seek. Whether that treasure is love, success, health, or creative fulfillment, the dragon of fear will be there to guard it. Most people see the dragon, and they turn back, concluding that the treasure is not for them. Our journey, the hero's journey, is not about finding a path where there is no dragon. It is about learning to face it, to understand its nature, and ultimately, to tame it. First, we must make a critical distinction between the two types of fear. There is primal, instinctual fear, which is a gift. This is the fear that floods your system when a car swerves into your lane. It triggers a brilliant biological response, a surge of adrenaline, heightened senses, faster reflexes, all designed to keep your physical body safe. This fear is an ally, a guardian of your survival, and we must honor it. But there is another kind of fear, a psychological fear. That is not a friend. This is the fear of public speaking, the fear of asking for what you're worth, the fear of being vulnerable in a relationship, the fear of failure, the fear of what other people might think. This fear is not protecting your body from physical harm. It is protecting your ego from discomfort. It is trying to keep your identity, your sense of self, safe within the tiny, familiar borders of your comfort zone. This psychological fear, this dragon of the mind, is almost always a liar. And it is this dragon we must learn to face. Let's deconstruct some of the dragon's favorite illusions. First is the fear of failure. This fear whispers that if you try and do not succeed, you will be diminished, proven to be a fraud, and that the loss will be unbearable. But this is based on a profound misunderstanding of failure. Failure is not the opposite of success. It is an essential ingredient of success. It is data. It is feedback. Every failure is simply the universe showing you what doesn't work, so you can adjust your course and try a new approach. An infant learning to walk falls down hundreds of times. It does not conclude that walking isn't for it. It simply integrates the feedback and tries again. We must reclaim this childlike resilience and see failure not as a judgment on our worth, but as a tuition payment for our education in mastery. Then there is the fear of judgment or rejection. This fear whispers, "Don't stand out. Don't share your art. Don't speak your truth. People will laugh at you. They will think you are a fool." This fear is a ghost, a holdover from our ancient tribal past when being rejected from the group literally meant death. But today, the opinions of others are just vibrations in the air. They cannot harm you. You must come to the radical understanding that what other people think of you is actually none of your business. It is a reflection of their own beliefs, their own fears, and their own reality, projected onto you. To be truly free, you must be willing to be misunderstood. Perhaps the most subtle and surprising fear of all is the fear of success. This is the fear that if you actually get what you want, you won't be able to handle it. You will have new responsibilities, new pressures. People will expect more of you. Perhaps you fear that your success will alienate you from your friends and family, that you will no longer belong. This fear is deeply tied to limiting beliefs about your own worthiness and capacity. It is the dragon convincing you that the treasure you seek is actually too heavy for you to carry. The work of Dr. Joe Dispenza provides a powerful scientific lens through which to understand this battle. He teaches that when we are living in fear, we are living in the hormones of stress, cortisol, and adrenaline. We are living in survival mode. In this state, our brain and body are constantly anticipating the worst-case scenario, drawing on the memories of past pain and failure to predict the future. Our energy is focused on protecting ourselves from the known dangers of our past. But you cannot create a new future if you are living in the emotions of the past. To enter creation mode, we must consciously shift our internal state. We must generate the elevated emotions of our future reality before it has arrived: joy, gratitude, love, and empowerment. This creates a new chemical and hormonal state in the body. It signals to our genes that it is safe to build, to grow, and to create. Overcoming fear, then, is a biological decision. It is the act of breaking the habit of being your old, fearful self, and choosing to fire and wire new neural networks based on the emotions of your future. So how, practically, do we do this? How do we face the dragon? The great paradox is that the only way to dissolve fear is to move toward it, to be willing to feel it. Resisting fear, fighting it, or running from it only gives it more power. The mantra of the spiritual warrior is, feel the fear and do it anyway. When the feeling of fear arises, do not panic. Instead, pause it. Acknowledge it without judgment. Hello, fear. I feel you. Locate the sensation in your body. Is it a tightness in your chest, a pit in your stomach, a lump in your throat? Now, take a few deep breaths and imagine you are breathing directly into that sensation. Don't try to make it go away. Simply be with it, bringing a sense of warmth and acceptance to it. You are showing your nervous system that you can handle this feeling. And then, while the feeling is still there, you take one small, courageous step. You write the first sentence. You dial the first digit of the phone number. You put on your running shoes. You take the action, however small, that the fear was trying to prevent. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is being terrified and taking the next step anyway. Every time you act in spite of fear, you are taming the dragon. You are teaching your nervous system a new response. You are proving to yourself that you are bigger than your fear. The dragon doesn't disappear in a puff of smoke, but with each courageous act, it gets a little smaller. Its roar becomes a little keener. Your comfort zone expands, and the treasure that once seemed so fiercely guarded is now within your reach. After we have taken a courageous step, after we have faced the dragon and acted anyway, a new and more subtle monster often raises its head. We take our brave action, and then we immediately look around for a dramatic, instantané result. When it doesn't arrive on our schedule, we become discouraged. We think, see, it didn't work, and the dragon of fear and doubt begins to grow strong again. Our struggle with fear is often deeply entangled with our struggle with time. We have been conditioned by a world of instant gratification to expect immediate rewards. And this sets us up for disappointment. To truly master our inner world, we must now confront our next great obstacle, our distorted perception of time and our need for control over it. We must learn to trust in the wisdom of divine timing. We have learned to face the dragon of fear, to feel its fiery breath, and yet take the courageous next step. We have acted in spite of our doubt. But in the quiet moments after that brave act, a new and insidious beast often emerges. It is the restless, tapping finger of impatience. It is the anxious scanning of the horizon for immediate results. It is the voice that whispers, "It's not here yet. It's taking too long. It's not working." This feeling, this urgent need for instant gratification, is one of the most powerful forms of resistance. It poisons our creations with the frantic energy of disbelief. To become true masters of our reality, we must not only learn to master our fears, but also our relationship with time itself. We must dismantle the myth of instant gratification and learn to embrace the profound wisdom of divine timing. We live in a world that has conditioned us for immediacy. We can order food, watch a movie, or get an answer to any question in seconds. This has trained our minds to expect the same speed from the universe. But the universe does not operate on the timeline of a smartphone app. It operates on the timeline of a turning galaxy, of a growing forest, of a developing child. Its rhythms are organic, deliberate, and always perfect. Our impatience is amplified by the modern habit of comparison. We scroll through the highlight reels of other people's lives, seeing their triumphs, their new homes, their perfect relationships, and we feel a pang of being behind. We are comparing our chapter 2 with someone else's chapter 20. This is a form of self-torture. You must accept this sacred truth. Your journey has its own unique and divinely orchestrated curriculum. Your soul knows the exact pace required for your optimal growth. To compare your timeline to anyone else's is to doubt the very wisdom that is guiding you. There is a powerful parable that perfectly illustrates this principle. It is the story of the Chinese bamboo tree. When a farmer plants the seed of this remarkable tree, he waters it and nurtures the soil for the entire first year. Yet nothing appears above the ground. He continues to water and fertilize for a second year. And still, he sees no sign of life. The third and fourth years pass in the same way. His neighbors, who have planted crops that yield a quick harvest, might mock him for tending to a patch of empty dirt. But the farmer has faith. He continues his patient work. Then, sometime during the fifth year, a tiny sprout finally breaks through the soil, and in the 6 weeks that follow, the Chinese bamboo tree grows to an astonishing height of 90 feet. The profound question is this: did the bamboo tree grow 90 feet in 6 weeks? Or did it grow in 5 years? The answer, of course, is that it grew in 5 years. For 4 of those years, while nothing was visible on the surface, a miracle was happening underground. The tree was silently and patiently building a massive, intricate, and powerful root system, a foundation strong enough to support the incredible, explosive growth that was to come. Without the 4 years of seemingly unproductive waiting, the 6 weeks of glorious manifestation would have been impossible. This is the perfect metaphor for your own creative process. The time between when you plant your seed of desire and when you see it bloom in your reality is the gestation period. It is your bamboo tree's time for root building. This is not a sign of failure. It is not the universe ignoring you. It is a sacred and necessary phase where the universe is rearranging circumstances, where people and opportunities are being put into place. And most importantly, where you are growing into the person who is strong enough and ready enough to handle the manifestation you have asked for. We must learn to reframe what it means to wait. In our culture, waiting is seen as a passive, frustrating state of inactivity. But we must transform our waiting into a state of active, faithful expectation. It is the difference between waiting for a bus that may or may not come and waiting for a beloved friend to arrive at the airport whom you know is on a flight that has already landed. The first is filled with uncertainty. The second is filled with joyful, certain anticipation. You must learn to wait for your desires as you would wait for the sun to rise. You don't worry about whether it will happen. You don't try to speed it up. You simply know, with a calm and profound certainty, that it is coming. And you go about your day in that peaceful knowing. Fall in love with the process, with the journey, the in-between time. The time you spend building your roots is where the real magic happens. It is where you learn patience, where you build faith, where you cultivate resilience. The manifestation, the 90-foot bamboo tree, is simply the beautiful outcome of the person you have become along the way. Instead of constantly looking for the final result, start looking for evidence of the roots growing, a small synchronicity, an unexpected piece of helpful advice, a day where you feel an unusual sense of peace, a sudden insight that shifts your perspective. These are the signs that the underground work is proceeding perfectly. Acknowledge and celebrate these small things, for they are the whispers from the universe that everything is on track. Let's revisit our master chef. After you have placed your order for a magnificent 7-course meal, you do not expect it to arrive in 2 minutes. You understand that a work of art takes time to prepare. You trust the timing of the kitchen. You know the chef is sourcing the finest ingredients, carefully preparing each component, and arranging them with artistic flair. You would not want the chef to rush and simply throw the ingredients on a plate. You desire the perfectly prepared meal. In the same way, the universe is preparing your desires with a level of complexity and perfection that you cannot yet see. Trust the chef. Trust the timing. Do not ruin the meal by demanding that it arrive before it is ready. This embrace of divine timing is an act of profound spiritual maturity. It is the release of the ego's need to control everything. But it is difficult to be patient. It is difficult to trust the future when we are still carrying the heavy weight of our past. Old wounds, old resentments, old heartbreaks can act like a heavy anchor, dragging behind us and making it impossible to move forward with grace and speed. We cannot fully embrace the divine timing of our future until we have made peace with the timing of our past. To clear the way for our bamboo to grow, we must first purify the soil of our soul. This requires one of the most courageous spiritual acts of all. It requires the quantum leap of forgiveness. We have learned to be patient with the universe, to trust in the slow, miraculous unfurling of the Chinese bamboo tree. Yet, for many of us, there is a deep and heavy anchor chained to our stern, digging into the muddy seabed of our past. It is the anchor of unforgiveness. We may be facing forward, our sails set for a new horizon, but we cannot move. We are tethered by the energetic ropes of old wounds, old betrayals, and old resentments. To truly embrace the divine timing of our future, we must first make peace with the events of our past. We must perform the quantum leap of consciousness that liberates us from its prison. We must learn the true art and power of forgiveness. Let us begin by dismantling the great myths that surround this word. Forgiveness has been misunderstood as an act of weakness, of condoning bad behavior, or of letting someone off the hook. It is none of these things. True forgiveness is not something you do for the other person. It is the ultimate act of self-love and self-liberation. Imagine holding a burning coal in your hand with the intention of one day throwing it at the person who hurt you. Who is being burned? You are. Resentment, blame, and the desire for revenge are burning coals that we carry, poisoning our own energy and searing our own soul. Long after the person who harmed us has moved on, forgiveness is simply the wise and courageous decision to drop the coal. It is a declaration that you will no longer allow a past event to dictate your present emotional state and create your future reality. It is not about forgetting. It is about choosing to no longer be defined by the memory. It is the moment you take your power back. From a vibrational perspective, unforgiveness is a form of self-sabotage. When you hold a grudge, you are creating a powerful, low-frequency, energetic cord that binds you to the very person or experience you wish to move away from. Your precious mental and emotional energy, the very fuel for creating your new life, is constantly being siphoned off to feed this old story of pain. You are vibrationally tethered to the past. The law of attraction, being impartial, simply responds to this vibration of hurt, anger, and blame by bringing you more circumstances that will make you feel hurt, angry, and blamed. You cannot create a future of joy while you are chained to a past of pain. Forgiveness is the act of taking the golden scissors of your intention and cutting that energetic cord. It is the act of calling all of your power and all of your energy back to yourself, here in the present moment, where your future is being created. This can seem like a monumental task, especially when the wounds are deep. How does one simply decide to forgive? Fortunately, there is a simple yet profoundly powerful ancient Hawaiian healing practice called Ho'oponopono. The word means to make right, and it is a spiritual technology for cleaning and purifying the painful memories and discordant energies that we hold within us. It is a prayer of reconciliation, not necessarily with the other person, but with the memory itself, within your own consciousness. The practice consists of focusing on a person or situation you wish to heal, and repeating 4 simple phrases, like a mantra. The first phrase is, "I'm sorry." This is not an admission that you were at fault. It is a recognition of your own part in holding this painful energy within your being. It is an act of taking 100% responsibility for your own inner world. You are saying to the divine, to the universe, "I am sorry for the part of my consciousness that co-created and has held on to this painful reality." The second phrase is, "Please forgive me." Again, you are not asking the other person for forgiveness. You are asking for forgiveness from Source, from God, from your own higher self, for having held this low-frequency vibration of resentment within you, for having allowed this energy to block the flow of love through you, for having forgotten, for a time, your true nature. The third phrase is, "Thank you." This is a pivotal shift in energy. You are expressing gratitude for the experience. No matter how painful, you are thanking it for the lessons it taught you, for the strength it forced you to find, for the compassion it may have opened in you. You are also saying thank you for the healing, for the transmutation of this painful energy back into pure light. Gratitude is the catalyst for all transformation. And the final, most powerful phrase is, "I love you." Love is the ultimate healing frequency in the universe. It is the universal solvent that can dissolve all pain, all anger, all fear. As you say these words, you are directing the pure energy of love at the memory. You are sending it to the other person's soul. You are bathing the entire situation in love. And most importantly, you are directing that love toward the part of yourself that has been hurting for so long. You are loving yourself back to wholeness. You can practice this anytime. Simply bring a person or a memory to mind. And as you breathe, silently repeat the mantra, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you." Feel the gentle power of these words washing over the old wound, cleaning it, and filling it with light. This process of forgiving others in past circumstances is vital. But there is often one person left on our list who is the hardest of all to forgive. It is ourselves. We are often our own cruelest judges and our most unforgiving jailers. We hold ourselves hostage for past mistakes, for words we wish we could take back, for opportunities we missed. We replay our perceived failures in an endless loop, bathing ourselves in the toxic vibrations of guilt and shame. But you must understand this at every moment in your past. You did the best you could with the level of awareness, knowledge, and consciousness you possessed at that time. To continue punishing your present self for the actions of a past self who knew no better is the ultimate act of cruelty. Self-forgiveness is the act of finally accepting your own beautiful, flawed humanity. It is looking your past self in the eye and saying, "You did the best you could. I forgive you. You are free." The Ho'oponopono practice is profoundly powerful here. Look at your own reflection in the mirror. Look deep into your own eyes and say to yourself, with all the sincerity you can muster, "I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you." Repeat it until you feel a shift, a softening, a release. This is you, handing yourself the key to your own prison cell. By clearing the energetic debris of the past through forgiveness, we purify the soil of our subconscious mind. We cut the heavy anchors and allow our ship to finally sail freely toward the future. We feel lighter, more peaceful, more present. We have cleaned our inner house. But even the cleanest house can get dusty again if the windows are left open in a sandstorm. Having done this profound inner work, we must now turn our attention to our outer world. We must assess the environments we live in and the people we surround ourselves with. Are they nurturing our new, higher vibration? Or are they constantly trying to pull us back down into the old energies of negativity and limitation? Our inner peace must be protected by outer wisdom. We have just completed the profound and liberating act of forgiveness. We have cut the heavy anchors to our past. And for the first time, perhaps, we feel a sense of inner lightness and freedom. The inner house is clean. The slate has been wiped. We have created a pristine, internal sanctuary. But even the most immaculate sanctuary can be spoiled if we are constantly tracking mud in from the outside. Having cleared our inner landscape, we must now become wise guardians of our energetic field. We must examine our external environment, the people, the information, and the spaces we inhabit, and assess whether they are nurturing our growth or poisoning our newly purified soil. This is the art of creating a sacred echo chamber for your soul. You are a vibrational being, and your energy is constantly interacting with the energy of everything and everyone around you. Some people, when you are in their presence, leave you feeling uplifted, energized, and inspired. They are operating at a high frequency, and their presence helps to elevate your own. But there are others who, after even a brief interaction, leave you feeling drained, heavy, and exhausted. These individuals, often called energy vampires, are not necessarily bad people. They are often individuals trapped in a low vibrational state of chronic negativity, complaint, gossip, and victimhood. Because misery loves company, they unconsciously seek to drain the life force from others to supplement their own. To spend significant time in their presence is like trying to stay warm while sitting next to an open freezer door. A powerful analogy for this dynamic is the phenomenon of crabs in a bucket. If you place a single crab in an open bucket, it can and will eventually climb its way out. But if you place a group of crabs in that same bucket, something curious happens. As soon as one crab begins to make progress, climbing toward the rim and toward freedom, the other crabs below will reach up and pull it back down into the pile. This is a perfect metaphor for what can happen in human social circles when one person decides to grow. When you embark on this journey of self-transformation, when you begin to raise your vibration, you are the crab climbing out of the bucket. Some people in your life, your fellow crabs, may feel uncomfortable or even threatened by your growth. Your light illuminates the darkness they are not yet ready to face in themselves. And so, they may try to pull you back down through mockery, criticism, doubt, or by reminding you of your old self. Oh, you're into all that spiritual stuff now. Who do you think you are to start your own business? These are the claws of the other crabs, trying to pull you back into the familiar misery of the bucket. To protect your energy and continue your ascent, you must learn the vital skill of setting healthy boundaries. A boundary is not a wall you build to punish others. It is a fence you build to honor and protect your own well-being. It is a loving declaration to yourself and to the world that you are committed to maintaining a high vibration. Setting boundaries can take many forms. With a casual acquaintance who is constantly complaining, it might be as simple as limiting your time with them, or gently changing the subject when the conversation turns negative. With family members or close friends, it may require a more direct, yet compassionate conversation, explaining that while you love them, you are no longer available for conversations rooted in gossip or blame. In some cases, with deeply toxic relationships, it may mean making the courageous decision to lovingly detach and wish them well from a distance. This is not an act of aggression. It is an act of profound self-respect. Your environment, however, is more than just the people you see. In the modern world, it is also the information you consume. You cannot expect to maintain a peaceful, abundant mindset if you are spending hours a day marinating in a media diet of fear, outrage, and disaster. The 24-hour news cycle and the algorithmically driven outrage on social media are designed to trigger your survival hormones, keeping you in a low vibrational state of anxiety and division. This is a form of environmental pollution. You must become the conscious curator of your own information diet. Unfollow accounts that make you feel inadequate or angry. Limit your exposure to the news. Actively seek out podcasts, books, and content that inspire, educate, and uplift you. You have the power to turn your phone from a source of anxiety into a portable library of wisdom. Similarly, your physical space is a direct reflection of your inner state. A cluttered, disorganized home or workspace creates stagnant, chaotic energy. It constantly sends a subconscious signal of overwhelm and confusion. The physical act of decluttering your space is a powerful spiritual practice. As you clean out a closet or organize a desk, you are not just creating physical order. You are creating energetic order. You are sending a clear message to the universe that you are making space for new, better, and more aligned experiences to enter your life. By creating a clean, beautiful, and orderly physical sanctuary, and you create an outer world that supports and reflects the inner peace you are cultivating. Now, after setting boundaries with negative influences, it is equally important to proactively seek out positive ones. You must find your tribe. You must find the other crabs who have also figured out how to get out of the bucket. Seek out people who understand your journey, who celebrate your growth, and who inspire you to reach even higher. In today's world, this is easier than ever before. Join online communities, take workshops, attend local meetups for people interested in meditation, spirituality, or personal growth. When you surround yourself with people who are also vibrating at a high frequency, a powerful resonance occurs. Their energy supports yours, and your energy supports theirs. The collective energy of a supportive mastermind group can create miracles, amplifying your intentions and accelerating your growth exponentially. We have now come through a great period of clearing. We have ventured into the shadows of our own minds to heal limiting beliefs. We have faced the dragon of fear. We have made peace with time and forgiven the weight of our past. And now, we have learned to clear and protect our external environment. We have, in essence, purified the soil and built a strong, protective fence around our sacred garden. The ground is now fertile. The space is clear. The static has been dramatically reduced. When you create this kind of high-frequency vessel, both inside and out, something magical begins to happen. The universe, which has been trying to speak to you all along, can finally get its message through. You begin to notice the signs, the patterns, the meaningful coincidences that were always there, but were previously obscured by the noise. Our journey now shifts from the hard work of clearing the obstacles to the joyful art of perceiving the magic. We are ready to learn the language of cosmic winks. We are ready to follow the trail of cosmic breadcrumbs. We have now done the great work of clearing. We have ventured into our inner shadows to heal old beliefs and have learned to tame the dragon of fear. We have made peace with the past through forgiveness and have learned to curate our external environment, creating a sanctuary for our soul. We have, in essence, cleaned the windows of our perception, and when the glass is finally clear of the dust and grime of our past resistance, we can begin to see the world as it truly is, a living, breathing, intelligent field of consciousness that is constantly communicating with us. The universe is always speaking to us, always leaving us clues. Our journey now is to learn how to recognize its language. This is the art of understanding synchronicity, of following the cosmic breadcrumbs that are laid out on our path. The term synchronicity was coined by the brilliant Swiss psychologist Carl Jung, a man who built a bridge between the worlds of psychology and mysticism. He defined it as a meaningful coincidence, an event in the outer world that has no direct causal relationship to an event in your inner world, yet feels so profoundly and personally connected that it could not possibly be random. It is the difference between a simple coincidence and a cosmic wink. Two people showing up to a party wearing the same shirt is a coincidence. Thinking about a specific, obscure topic, and then turning on the television to find a documentary about that very topic, starting at that exact moment, that is a synchronicity. It is the universe leaning in and whispering, "I see you. I hear you. We are connected." Once you become open to this phenomenon, you will start to notice these cosmic breadcrumbs everywhere. They come in many forms. One of the most common in our modern age is the appearance of repeating numbers. You glance at the clock and it's 11:11. You get a receipt at the store for $22.22. You see a license plate with the number 444 right after asking for a sign. While there are many systems that assign specific meanings to these numbers, their true power lies not in some rigid definition, but in their ability to act as a pattern interrupt. They are a nudge from the universe, a gentle tap on the shoulder to pull you out of your ordinary thinking and into the present moment. They are a confirmation that in that instant, you are in alignment, you are in the flow, and you are being noticed. Another common form of synchronicity is what we might call the timely message. You are wrestling with a difficult decision, feeling completely lost. You get on a bus, and the two strangers sitting in front of you have a conversation that contains the exact piece of wisdom you needed to hear. Or you are driving, feeling discouraged, and a song comes on the radio with lyrics that speak directly to your heart, reigniting your hope. You might see a message on a billboard or the side of a truck that seems to be a direct answer to a question you just asked in your mind. The universe is using the fabric of the ordinary world to deliver an extraordinary message, tailor-made just for you. Perhaps the most classic example is the thinking of you phenomenon. You are going about your day when an old friend you haven't spoken to in years suddenly pops into your mind for no apparent reason. You might even feel a brief wave of their presence. And then, minutes or hours later, your phone rings, and it is them. This experience shatters our conventional understanding of time and space, revealing that we are all connected on a level beyond our five senses. We are connected in a great, invisible web of consciousness, and our thoughts and feelings can be transmitted and received across it. The key to working with synchronicity is to approach it with a sense of playful curiosity, not obsessive analysis. If you go hunting for signs, trying to force meaning out of every little thing, you will create an anxious, needy energy that actually repels them. The art is to be open, aware, and receptive. Live your life. Do your inner work. And then simply pay attention. When a synchronicity occurs, you will know it. It will not be a subtle intellectual puzzle to be solved. It will be a jolt. It will be a flash of insight. A feeling of goosebumps on your skin. A deep inner aha that resonates through your entire being. The meaning is not in the sign itself. The meaning is in the resonance it creates within you. When you experience one, the best practice is to simply pause, smile, and say thank you. Acknowledge the wink from the universe. It can be helpful to keep a synchronicity journal. By writing down these magical occurrences, you begin to create a personal library of evidence that you are not alone, that you are being guided, and that there is a beautiful, intelligent order underlying the seeming chaos of life. Ultimately, these cosmic breadcrumbs serve two primary purposes: confirmation and guidance. When you are in a state of high vibration, feeling joyful, grateful, and aligned with your purpose, the frequency of synchronicities in your life will increase dramatically. It is the universe's way of confirming your alignment, of saying, yes, keep going, you are on the right path. Your vibration is clear, and we are connecting with you. They are the green lights on your spiritual journey, assuring you that the road ahead is open. But where is this road leading? Where do these breadcrumbs ultimately guide us? Are they simply leading us from one desire to the next? From the new job to the new relationship to the new house? Or is there a grander destination? Often, the trail of synchronicity is guiding us towards something far more essential than any single manifestation. It is guiding us toward the fulfillment of our unique purpose. The reason our soul chose to have this experience in the first place. The signs are not just leading you to what you want, they are leading you to who you are. This beckons us to ask a deeper question: what is this soul's blueprint? What is my true purpose? And how do I discover it? We have learned to recognize the language of the universe, to see the meaningful coincidences and synchronicities as winks and nudges, guiding us along our path. We have learned to trust these signs. But this begs the most profound question of all. Where is this path ultimately leading? Is the universe merely guiding us to a better parking spot, a new relationship, or a bigger house? Or are these simply landmarks on a much grander, more epic journey? The truth is, these cosmic breadcrumbs are leading you home. Not to the home you live in, but to the home you live from. They are guiding you back to your most authentic self, to the fulfillment of your soul's unique blueprint. They are leading you to your true purpose. The very idea of finding one's purpose can feel immensely daunting. We have been conditioned to think of purpose as a specific job title, a singular, monumental achievement that we must spend our lives searching for. This misconception creates a tremendous pressure, a fear that we might miss it, or choose the wrong one. But we must begin by reframing this understanding. Your true purpose is not a destination you arrive at. It is a path that you walk. It is not a specific what that you do, but a specific how that you are. It is the unique flavor of energy that only you can bring to the world. Your purpose might be to bring beauty into the world. A purpose you could fulfill as a painter, a gardener, a chef, or a parent who creates a beautiful home. Your purpose might be to bring healing, which you could do as a doctor, a therapist, a musician, or simply a friend who listens with deep compassion. When you see purpose as a way of being rather than a single occupation, you realize you can begin living it right now, in this very moment. No matter your current circumstances. Perhaps no story illustrates this journey more beautifully than Paulo Coelho's timeless classic, The Alchemist. It is the tale of Santiago, a humble shepherd boy who has a recurring dream of a treasure hidden at the Egyptian pyramids. This dream is his personal legend, a term the book uses for one's true purpose. The entire story is about Santiago's journey to fulfill this legend. He leaves behind his comfortable, unfamiliar life and ventures into the unknown, learning along the way to listen to his heart and to read the omens, the synchronicities that the universe provides. He faces fear, loss, and betrayal, but he never loses faith in his quest. The ultimate lesson of the story is a profound one. After traveling across the world, Santiago finally reaches the pyramids, only to discover that the physical treasure was actually buried right back where he started, under a sycamore tree in an abandoned church. The true treasure was not the gold, but the wisdom, the love, and the personal transformation he gained on the journey itself. He had to travel far away to understand the riches that were within him and right in front of him all along. This is our journey. We are all Santiago. We all have a personal legend whispering to us in our dreams and in our hearts. And the universe is constantly providing us with omens to guide us. So how do we learn to hear these whispers and read these signs in our own lives? The clues to your purpose are not hidden in some ancient, cryptic text. They are hidden in plain sight, in the landscape of your own life. The first and most important clue is your joy. What makes you feel truly alive? What activities are you engaged in when you completely lose track of time? What would you do even if you were never paid for it? This is not a frivolous hobby. This is your soul's compass pointing north. Joy is the vibrational signal that you are aligned with your true nature. The second clue is your curiosity. What subjects do you love to learn about, just for the sake of learning? What topics send you down a rabbit hole of books or late-night internet searches? This curiosity is not random. It is the breadcrumb trail left by your soul, inviting you to explore the territories that are uniquely fascinating to you. The third clue often lies in your childhood. What did you love to do before the world told you to be realistic? Did you love to build things, to tell stories, to care for animals, to organize your toys? These early, uncorrupted passions are often the purest expression of our soul's innate inclinations. To add another layer of clarity, it can be helpful to distinguish between your inner purpose and your outer purpose. Your inner purpose is primary, and it is the same for every human being on the planet. It is to awaken. It is to become fully present in this moment, to transcend the limitations of the ego, and to realize your connection to the unified field of consciousness. All of the practices we have discussed, meditation, mindfulness, forgiveness, overcoming fear, are the work of fulfilling your inner purpose. Your outer purpose is secondary, and it is unique to you. It is how your awakened consciousness chooses to express itself and interact with the world. It is your particular what. This outer purpose can change and evolve throughout your life. In one phase, your purpose might be to raise conscious children. In another, it might be to build a sustainable business. In another, it might be to create art that uplifts the human spirit. You must prioritize your inner purpose. When you are centered, present, and aligned, your outer purpose will unfold before you gracefully and without struggle. You cannot fulfill your unique outer calling if your inner house is in chaos. Ultimately, your true purpose often lies at the intersection of two great forces, your own deepest joy and the world's deep hunger. It is about taking the thing that makes you feel the most alive and offering it in service to others. This is the alchemy that transforms a personal passion into a world-changing purpose. You may love to bake cakes, which brings you great joy. When you bake a cake for a friend who is grieving, your joy meets a need, and it becomes an act of healing. You may love to organize data, which brings you a sense of deep satisfaction. When you use that skill to help a nonprofit organization become more efficient, your joy meets a need, and it becomes an act of service. It is in this giving of your unique gift that you receive the greatest gift of all, the profound fulfillment of living a life of meaning. As you begin to walk this path of purpose, as you align your personal desires with your soul's deeper calling, you start to realize that your journey is not just about you. You begin to sense that your individual growth, your rising vibration, is contributing something to the world beyond your immediate life. You realize that your personal thread, your personal legend, is intricately woven into a much larger, magnificent design. You become aware that you are part of a great and interconnected tapestry, the tapestry of all humanity, and your awakening contributes to the awakening of us all. We have followed the cosmic breadcrumbs to the doorstep of our true purpose, realizing that our personal journey is not just about acquiring things, but about becoming the person we were always meant to be. As we stand in this new awareness, living from a place of joy and service, we begin to sense a profound truth. We feel that our personal transformation, our individual act of raising our vibration, is having an effect that ripples out far beyond the borders of our own life. We begin to understand that our single, unique thread is part of a much larger and more glorious design. We are now ready to perceive the breathtaking reality of the tapestry of we, the power and the promise of the collective consciousness. For millennia, the greatest mystics, saints, and spiritual masters of every tradition have all pointed to the same ultimate truth: the experience of being a separate self. An isolated ego, locked inside a physical body, is a magnificent illusion. At the deepest level of our being, we are not separate drops of water, but individual waves in a single, vast ocean of consciousness. We are all expressions of one universal life, one unified field, one infinite mind. This concept of oneness is the mystical heart of the world's religions. In modern times, science, in its own language, is beginning to echo this ancient wisdom. Physicists speak of the quantum field, an invisible field of energy and information that underlies and connects all of reality. Biologists like Rupert Sheldrake have proposed the theory of morphic resonance, the idea that every species has a collective, non-local memory field that guides its development and behavior. We are beginning to see, from all angles, that we are far more interconnected than we ever believed possible. When you truly grasp this, the entire journey of personal growth takes on a new and sacred dimension. Your inner work is no longer a selfish pursuit. It is a profound act of service to the world. Imagine all of humanity as a single, vast body of water. Every time you hold a thought of fear, resentment, or judgment, it is like dropping a small pebble of dark, muddy sludge into that water, contributing to the overall pollution. But every time you consciously choose a thought of love, every time you perform an act of forgiveness, every time you manage to feel genuine joy or gratitude, it is like dropping a pebble of pure, clear, liquid light into that same water. Your individual act of raising your vibration contributes to the purification and elevation of the entire collective field. Your personal healing is a gift to us all. You are, in the most literal sense, helping to heal the world from the inside out. This may sound like a beautiful theory, but is there any evidence that a focused group consciousness can have a measurable effect on the world? The answer is a resounding yes. Consider the fascinating, albeit controversial, story of the 100th monkey effect. In the 1950s, scientists observing monkeys on a Japanese island began providing them with sweet potatoes. A young female monkey learned to wash the sand off her potato in a stream before eating it. She taught this trick to her mother, and gradually, other monkeys in the troop learned by imitation. The scientists observed that after a certain critical mass of monkeys had learned the new skill, let's call it the 100th monkey, something inexplicable happened. Monkeys on other, completely separate islands, with no physical contact or communication with the original troop, suddenly and spontaneously began washing their sweet potatoes. It was as if the new consciousness, upon reaching a tipping point, had been uploaded to the collective monkey mind and become available to the entire species. This story serves as a powerful parable for how a new awareness can spread non-locally through the collective field. A more scientifically rigorous example is found in the Maharishi effect studies. During the 1980s and 90s, a series of carefully controlled experiments were conducted in cities with high crime rates, such as Washington, D.C. Large groups of people trained in transcendental meditation gathered to meditate together for several weeks. The hypothesis was that their coherent, peaceful group consciousness would have a calming effect on the surrounding population. The results, later published in peer-reviewed journals like the Journal of Conflict Resolution, were stunning. During the periods of group meditation, violent crime rates in the cities dropped significantly, by as much as 25% in some cases. These drops could not be explained by weather patterns, policing efforts, or any other variable. The only correlation was the presence of a large, coherent group of meditators. This provides compelling evidence that a small percentage of the population, by achieving a state of inner peace, can create a tangible, positive effect on the whole. They were literally calming the waters of the collective consciousness for everyone. Embracing this reality of our interconnectedness fundamentally shifts our perspective. It moves us from a me consciousness to a we consciousness. Our prayers and intentions begin to change. We move from "I want a new car" to "I want to contribute to a world where everyone has access to safe and sustainable transportation." We move from "I want to be healed" to "I want to be a vessel for healing energy in the world." We understand that our own success and happiness are intrinsically linked to the success and happiness of all beings. We see that the pain of a person on the other side of the world is, on some subtle level, our own pain, and that their joy is our joy. The illusion of the separate self begins to dissolve, replaced by a profound sense of compassion and shared responsibility. This is the dawning of planetary consciousness. This is the next stage in human evolution. You are a cell in the body of humanity. Your health and vitality are essential to the health and vitality of the whole. By focusing on your own light, you give others permission to shine their own. By living your true purpose, you inspire others to find theirs. The most profound act of world service you can ever perform is to become the most joyful, loving, and fully realized version of yourself. As we sit with this awareness of being part of a vast, intelligent, interconnected field, a natural question arises. If this field contains all information, all wisdom, all possibility, if it is, as some have called it, the mind of God, how can I, as an individual, access it more directly? How can I tune my personal receiver to pick up the signals from this cosmic broadcast? How can I learn to hear the voice of the collective soul? The answer is that you already have a built-in receiver. It is the quiet, still voice that speaks without words. It is your direct line to universal intelligence. We must now learn to cultivate and trust this inner oracle. We must learn to develop our intuition. We have journeyed outward to the edges of the cosmos and inward to the depths of our own subconscious. We have arrived at the breathtaking realization that we are not isolated beings, but are intrinsically connected to a single, unified field of consciousness and infinite intelligence that animates all of life. We have seen that this field communicates with us through the meaningful coincidences of synchronicity. A question naturally arises. How can we move from passively noticing these external signs to actively and directly receiving guidance from this universal wisdom? The answer is that you were born with a perfect, built-in receiver. It is a faculty far more subtle than your five senses. A direct line to the soul of the world. It is your inner oracle. It is your intuition. For centuries, in a world that has worshipped logic and reason, intuition has often been dismissed as mere guesswork, of feminine fancy, or as unreliable emotional whims. But intuition is not an emotion, and it is not a guess. It is a highly sophisticated perceptual ability. It is the faculty of knowing something directly, without the need for analytical thought or linear reasoning. It is your soul's quiet whisper, your higher self's gentle nudge. It is the compass that will always point you toward your truest path, if only you learn to listen. The first and most crucial skill is learning to distinguish the quiet voice of intuition from the loud, bullying voice of fear and the ego. This is where most people get confused. They mistake an anxious thought for an intuitive warning. The voices are, in fact, completely different in their quality and their feel. The voice of fear is almost always loud. It is urgent, frantic, and emotionally charged. It screams, "Watch out, don't do it. Remember what happened last time." It feels heavy, chaotic, and contracting in your body. It is rooted in past pain and projects worst-case scenarios onto the future. The voice of the ego is also loud, often arrogant or judgmental, concerned with how things will look to others. But the voice of intuition is the complete opposite. It is almost always quiet. It is calm, neutral, and matter-of-fact. It doesn't have a heavy emotional charge. It often comes as a single, simple, clear impression. It feels expansive and peaceful, even if the information it provides is unexpected. It doesn't shout, it whispers. It simply presents a piece of information. Turn left here. Wait before sending that email. Trust this person. Learning to discern this difference is the foundational practice of intuitive living. Intuition communicates with us through several different channels, and each of us may have a primary channel that is most natural to us. The most common is what is known as clairsentience, or clear feeling. This is your gut feeling. It is the visceral sensation in the pit of your stomach that tells you something is off, or the feeling of warmth and expansion in your chest that tells you something is right. It is your body's wisdom speaking to you directly. Another channel is claircognizance, or clear knowing. This is when an idea or a piece of information downloads into your mind fully formed. You suddenly just know the answer to a complex problem, without having logically worked through the steps. It feels like remembering something you didn't even know you knew. There is also clairvoyance, or clear seeing, which can manifest as seeing a vivid image in your mind's eye or having a highly symbolic dream that provides guidance. And there is clairaudience, or clear hearing, which is the experience of hearing a kind, guiding voice in your mind that is distinct from your own neurotic chatter. By paying attention, you can learn which of these channels your intuition most frequently uses to speak to you. The renowned spiritual teacher Sonia Choquette has dedicated her life to demystifying this process, teaching people simply to trust their vibes. Her core message is that your spirit is always communicating with you through your energy field. A situation, a person, or a choice that is in alignment with your highest good will give off a good vibe, a feeling of peace, expansion, and rightness. A choice that is out of alignment will give off a bad vibe, a feeling of unease, contraction, or dread. Consider this common scenario. You are considering a business partnership. On paper, the person is perfect, experienced, successful, and charming. But every time you are with them, you feel a slight knot in your stomach, a feeling you can't explain. That is your intuition, your inner oracle, giving you a warning. To ignore that vibe because your logical mind says it's a good opportunity is to ignore your most trusted advisor. Conversely, you might meet someone who seems an unlikely collaborator, but you feel an instant sense of ease, resonance, and joy in their presence. That is a hell yes from your intuition, guiding you toward a fruitful connection. Like any muscle, your intuition gets stronger with use. There are practical exercises you can do to strengthen this faculty. The most important is a regular meditation practice. Meditation is the act of quieting the loud voice of the ego, so that the quiet whisper of intuition can finally be heard. Spending time in nature is another powerful way to tune in. The natural world operates purely on intuition and instinct, and its energy helps to recalibrate our own. You can also practice by asking specific, low-stakes questions. Sit quietly for a moment. Take a few deep breaths to center yourself. And ask, what is one thing my body needs today then? Be still and open. Do not search for an answer. Simply notice the first thought, image, or feeling that arises. Perhaps it's the image of a glass of water, the feeling of wanting to stretch, or the thought go for a walk. That is your inner oracle responding. You can play low-stakes games, like guessing who is on the phone before you look, or sensing which elevator will arrive first. These playful exercises build your confidence in your own inner knowing. Ultimately, the most important part of developing your intuition is learning to act on its guidance. It is about building a relationship of trust with your higher self. When you receive an intuitive hit, a gut feeling, a quiet nudge, and you listen to it, you act on it, you are sending a powerful message back to the universe. I hear you. I am paying attention. I trust you. This validation creates a positive feedback loop, and the guidance will become clearer, stronger, and more frequent. Conversely, if you consistently ignore your intuition, if you constantly override your gut feelings with logical doubt, the whispers may become fainter over time. Why would your guide continue to give you directions if you have proven that you will not follow them? Acting on your intuition, especially when it doesn't make logical sense, is a radical act of faith that unlocks a level of grace and flow you never thought possible. With this inner oracle now active and online, we find ourselves at the pinnacle of empowerment. We understand the laws of creation. We have cleared the internal and external obstacles that held us back, and we now have a direct line to universal wisdom to guide our every step. We are holding the keys to the kingdom. This brings us to the final stage of our journey. With all this knowledge and all this power, what is the optimal state of being from which to live our lives? What is the emotional currency that makes this entire magical system operate with the most grace, joy, and effortlessness? We must now explore the transformative power of the ultimate creative emotion, the frequency that aligns us instantly with all good things. We must learn to live in a state of gratitude. We have journeyed through the mind, traversed the landscapes of belief, and faced the guardians of our own limitations. We have learned the mechanics of creation, the art of allowing, and the wisdom of surrender. But now we arrive at a space that is not so much a technique to be learned, as it is a home to be inhabited, a destination that was, all along, our point of origin. This is the realm of gratitude, but not the polite, fleeting thank you of social convention. We are speaking of something far more profound, a force so powerful it can recalibrate your entire existence. We are speaking of gratitude as the very currency of the cosmos, the ultimate state of receiving. Imagine for a moment that every desire, every dream, every reality you wish to call forth has a specific energetic price. Not a price of struggle or sacrifice, but a price of resonance, of alignment. You must match its frequency to receive it. And the single most powerful way to match the frequency of abundance, of joy, of fulfillment, is to immerse yourself in the feeling of gratitude. It is the master key that unlocks every door. The journey into the law of attraction and personal development often begins with a sense of lack, a feeling that something is missing, that you need to acquire something, a new skill, a new possession, a new relationship, in order to be whole. But gratitude flips this entire paradigm on its head. It is a radical declaration that you are already whole, already blessed, already living in an ocean of abundance. You have simply forgotten how to see it. It is the ultimate antidote to the poison of scarcity. The first and most crucial understanding is that gratitude is not an action. It is a state of being. The act of gratitude is writing a list, saying thank you, acknowledging a gift. These are important. They are the rituals that can lead you to the state. But the state itself, the state of being grateful, is an immersive, full-body experience. It is a conscious choice to shift your focus from the one thing you feel you lack to the 1,000 things you already possess. It is the warmth of the sun on your skin, the miracle of a breath filling your lungs, the intricate network of relationships and experiences that have woven the tapestry of your life. To enter this state is to change your fundamental operating system. Fear, anxiety, and scarcity are programs that run on the operating system of lack. Gratitude installs a new system, an operating system of sufficiency, of abundance. And on this new system, the old, negative programs simply cannot run. They become incompatible. This is why gratitude is not just a nice thing to do. It is a transformative spiritual practice. It biochemically alters your body, calming your nervous system, and it energetically alters your point of attraction, shifting your entire vibrational signature from I need to I have. And the universe, in its infinite wisdom, is a mirror. It can only reflect back to you the truth of your own being. So when you broadcast the signal of I have, the universe has no choice but to bring you more things to have. This is where the practical application becomes a beautiful daily ritual, a game you can play with the universe. Perhaps no modern text has made this practice more accessible than Rhonda Byrne's audiobook. The magic, it serves as a perfect companion on this journey. A 28-day guide that doesn't just tell you to be grateful, but gives you tangible, creative exercises to anchor the state of being into your reality. It transforms the abstract concept into a living, breathing practice. One day, the practice might be to find a magic rock, a simple, smooth stone that you carry in your pocket, and every time you touch it, your only job is to think of one thing you are truly grateful for from that day. This simple act trains your mind, like a muscle, to constantly scan your environment not for problems, but for blessings. Another day, the practice is to look at your bills, and instead of feeling dread, you find gratitude for the service that the money provided, the electricity that powered your home, the food that nourished your body, and you write, "Thank you," paid on them, feeling the gratitude for the abundance that allowed you to pay. Through these daily, focused exercises, available to you through the convenience of an audiobook that can guide you while you walk, cook, or simply rest, you begin to rewire the neural pathways in your brain. You are no longer a victim of circumstance. You are a treasure hunter, and the treasure you seek is the joy hidden in plain sight. A gratitude journal becomes not a diary of events, but an audit of your wealth, a ledger of your riches, and you will be astonished at how quickly your perceived wealth grows. Not because your external world has dramatically changed overnight, but because your internal vision has been healed. You are learning to see the gold that was always there. Gratitude is also the most powerful medicine, the direct and immediate antidote to fear and scarcity. Fear cannot survive in a heart that is filled with genuine appreciation. Think of it this way: fear and lack are phantom energies that derive their power from your focus upon them. They are shadows that disappear the moment you shine a light. Gratitude is that light. When you are consumed by the fear of not having enough money, consciously shift your focus to the roof over your head, the food in your pantry, the clothes on your back, the very air you breathe, which costs you nothing. Feel the swell of appreciation for these fundamental blessings. In that moment, the energetic grip of fear is loosened. It cannot coexist with the high vibration of genuine thanks. Scarcity tells you a story of limitation, of a finite pie where someone else's gain must be your loss. Gratitude tells you the truth of the universe, that you live in a field of infinite potential, that creation is limitless, and that the source of all things is inexhaustible. When you feel envy for another's success, use it as a trigger. Immediately find something in your own life to be grateful for, something unique and special to your journey. This act short-circuits the low-frequency emotion of envy and replaces it with the high-frequency emotion of appreciation, which in turn makes you a vibrational match for your own success. You are alchemizing poison into medicine, transmuting the lead of fear into the gold of abundance. And now we come to the most advanced, the most magical, the most powerful application of this cosmic law. The practice of feeling gratitude for something before it has manifested in your physical reality. This is the ultimate statement of faith. This is the embodiment of the principle ask, and it is given. Most people pray or wish for something and then wait, anxiously, looking for signs, wondering if their request was heard. This waiting, this wondering, is filled with the energy of doubt, the vibration of lack. But the Master Creator, The conscious architect of reality knows a deeper truth. They understand that in the quantum field, all possibilities already exist. Your desire already exists as a vibrational potential. Your only job is to become an energetic match to it. And how do you do that? You feel the overwhelming, heart-swelling, tear-inducing gratitude of having it right now. You do not hope for it, and you give thanks for it. You close your eyes and you feel the joy of the new relationship. You feel the freedom of financial abundance. You feel the vitality of perfect health. And you say, from the very core of your being, thank you. You are placing your order with the cosmos and paying for it in advance with the most valuable currency. There is the currency of joy, the currency of gratitude. This act is a profound declaration of trust in the universe. It is you telling the creative intelligence of life, I know you have already given it to me. I know it is done. And I am so deeply, profoundly grateful. This feeling, this unwavering faith expressed as advanced gratitude, collapses the wave of potential into the particle of your experience. It is the final, effortless step in creation. It is the secret held by all masters. And it is a secret now available to you. By cultivating a state of being steeped in gratitude, you are no longer just asking for a better life. You are inhabiting it. Right here, right now. And from that sacred space of thankfulness, a new desire, a new impulse, naturally begins to emerge. The desire not just to receive, but to give back, to contribute, which leads us to the final stage of our journey. As you inhabit the state of gratitude, a curious and beautiful alchemy begins to take place. The heart, once focused on receiving, becomes so full, so overflowing with the recognition of its own infinite wealth, that its very nature begins to change. A cup that is perpetually full has no need to ask for more water. Its natural, effortless impulse is to overflow, to share its contents with the thirsty ground around it. This is the final, great turning point in the spiritual journey. The moment you graduate from the student of manifestation to the master of being, we move from a focus on what we can attract to a revelation of who we are becoming. And this leads us into the grand, ultimate purpose of this entire exploration, the infinite game. This is the shift from manifesting to becoming, from seeking to serving, from acquiring to contributing. The universe did not call you to this path simply so you could accumulate more possessions. It called you to this path so you would awaken to the magnificent creator that you are, and in so doing, become a conscious contributor to the tapestry of existence. In the beginning, the journey is almost always fueled by a desire to change our external circumstances. We want the better job, the loving partner, the healthier body, the bigger bank account. And this is perfectly natural and good. These desires are the universe's way of getting our attention. They are the breadcrumbs that lead us out of the dense forest of victimhood and into the clearing of conscious creation. The joy of manifesting a parking spot, of receiving an unexpected check, of attracting a wonderful new friend. These are the exercises that build our faith. They prove to us that our thoughts and feelings do indeed shape our reality. This is the first level of the game. Learning the rules, understanding the mechanics of how this inner world of cause connects to the outer world of effect. But for every soul who stays on this path long enough, a deeper question eventually surfaces. After a while, the thrill of simply getting things begins to fade, and a new, more profound yearning emerges from the depths of your being. The question ceases to be, what else can I get? And it evolves into something far more powerful. Who am I capable of becoming, and with this power, what can I contribute? This is the transition from playing a finite game to engaging in an infinite game. This concept, beautifully articulated by the philosopher James P. Carse, is the key to unlocking true, lasting fulfillment. A finite game is played for the purpose of winning. It has a known beginning and end, a clear set of rules, and defined winners and losers. A football game is a finite game. Getting a specific promotion is a finite game. Manifesting a particular car is a finite game. The goal is to acquire the title, to end the game, to be declared the victor. Our society is built almost entirely on the foundation of finite games. But an infinite game is played for the purpose of continuing the play. There are no winners or losers, only players. The rules are fluid and can change by agreement to keep the game going. The boundaries are not fixed, and the goal is not to win, but to perpetuate the game by bringing more and more players into it. Love is an infinite game. Learning is an infinite game. And your own evolution is the most infinite game of all. For so long, you may have been using the tools of creation to win at finite games, which is a wonderful start. But the true invitation of the universe is to use these tools to become a masterful player in the infinite game of becoming yourself. In this game, there is no final destination to reach. There is only a perpetual, joyous unfolding. There is no winning at life. There is only the opportunity to continue playing, to continue growing, to continue expanding your capacity for joy, love, and creativity. When you shift your perspective to that of an infinite player, your entire relationship with desire changes. A desire is no longer a frantic attempt to fill an inner void. Instead, your desires become the creative impulses of your highest self. Seeking expression, you might still desire abundance, but not because you are terrified of poverty. You desire it because you see abundance as a powerful tool for good, a current of energy that can flow through you to create beautiful things and help others. You might still desire a loving relationship, but not from a place of lonely desperation. You desire it as a sacred playground for mutual growth, a divine partnership where two souls can help each other become more of who they truly are. The focus shifts from the prize to the process, from the destination to the dance. You understand that true prosperity is not a number in a bank account. True prosperity is the freedom to live your authentic life, the freedom to continue playing your infinite game. True prosperity is the richness of being so fully yourself that you become a gift to the world. Just by existing, it is the liberty to share your unique, irreplaceable gifts, your passions, your art, your voice, with a world that is waiting to receive them. This is the ultimate wealth, the freedom to be a pure conduit for the creative energy of the universe to flow through you, unhindered by fear or self-doubt. You no longer seek to be a container that is filled. You joyfully accept your role as a channel that is forever flowing. And so, we come full circle on our grand tour of the hidden realms. We have looked at the power of thought, the science of vibration, the tools of visualization, the energy of emotion, and the deep magic of gratitude. It is vital, in this final stage, to hold all of this with a light touch. Each book we have referenced, whether from Neville Goddard, Rhonda Byrne, or any other great teacher, each philosophy and every technique, they are not the truth itself. They are fingers pointing at the moon. Their purpose is not to be worshipped. Their purpose is to direct your gaze. The moon is the luminous, magnificent, undeniable truth of your own divine consciousness. The ultimate goal of this entire journey was never to master a technique. It was to lead you back to yourself. It was to show you, through 100 different doorways, that the power you were seeking was never outside of you. The creator, the architect, the dreamer of the dream, has been you all along. The philosophies and audiobooks are the maps, but you are the territory. They are the instruction manuals, but you are the technology. The true destination of this quest is a profound and unshakable self-realization. An inner freedom so complete that you no longer need any external validation. You have journeyed far, not to find a new land, but to see your own home with new eyes. to understand that the kingdom of heaven is, and always has been, within you. This realization brings us to the threshold of our final conclusion, where we gather all the threads of this journey and weave them into a final, empowering message to carry forward into the rest of your magnificent, unfolding life. We have now traveled to the farthest reaches of inner space, a journey that began with a single, radical idea. The idea that our consciousness is not a passive observer, but the active creator of our reality. We have walked through the halls of the mind, learning to become the masters of our thoughts and the guardians of our attention. We journeyed deeper into the heart, to understand that feeling is the sacred language that speaks our desires into existence. We learned to use the powerful tools of creation, to visualize with clarity and to allow with grace, dismantling the very architecture of limitation we had built around ourselves. We faced the shadows, the old beliefs and ancestral fears, not as enemies to be vanquished, but as teachers to be integrated. We connected with the silent wisdom of the universe, learning to surrender to its flow. And we discovered the supreme, transformative power of gratitude, understanding it as the very currency of joy. We have completed a great circle, an evolution of consciousness that has taken us from seeking power outside of ourselves to finally recognizing the kingdom of heaven that resides within. This journey was never about learning a new set of tricks, but about remembering an ancient, profound truth. The hidden realm is not in a distant galaxy or a mythical land. It is behind your own eyes. It is within your own heart. It is in the silent space between your thoughts. You are the architect designing the blueprint of your life. You are the artist painting your reality onto the canvas of time. You are the great sculptor, and the marble you are shaping is your own consciousness. The ultimate message is this: peace, joy, and true abundance are not destinations you must struggle to reach. They are not rewards for good behavior. They are internal states of being that you can choose to activate right now, in this very moment. They are your birthright. And so, we leave you here, at the threshold of your own infinite potential, with a final, empowering realization, the key to unlocking any reality you desire. The key to the hidden realms was never lost. It was never hidden from you. It has always been in your hand, waiting for you to recognize it, waiting for you to turn it in the lock. The journey of this audiobook may be ending, but your true journey, the journey beyond the senses, has only just begun. The great work is now yours to continue. What magnificent reality will you choose to unlock for yourself? Starting today,